right? Wasn't that some of the things that came out that Drew Aller was on a yacht all day in Miami?
It wasn't him, though.
I know it wasn't him. Of course it wasn't him. James Franklin isn't allowing his players on the day of the national semifinal Final Four game to go out and hang out on a yacht. Hey, guys, beach day for everybody.
I'd put that in my NIL. That's part of my NIL right there.
Everybody meet back at the hotel at 4 so we can make our way over to the stadium for it's Eastern time, so 7:30 kick. Okay, but we're going to meet back here at 4, go have fun. Go explore Miami, everybody.
That's what it looked like.
It's so dumb. And, of course, when he throws the interception, then it blows up even more of, I wish Drew Aller was on a boat right now. Drew Aller needs to be on a boat. My favorite one was the amount of Penn State fans saying, is it Pibula that's going to Mizzou? So Pibula wouldn't have thrown that. Maybe Pibula should have started this game. We'd have beat Notre Dame. Like, oh, that's cool. All right, we'll see if that's actually the case because that guy's at Mizzou. So when you hear Penn State fans are annoyed at but that's message board stuff. So it's not really logically speaking. Since Drew Aller's a pretty damn good quarterback, he just was not last night. He was off last night. He had an interception that was called back because of the pass interference. Two interceptions that were called back. The first one I think was legit because dude did hold him.
Agreed.
He almost ripped him down and held him, which allowed him to get in position to intercept the ball. The second one. Not a fan of that one, but I don't really want to talk about refs today. We've talked about refs almost all year with the Kansas City Chiefs and the idiocy that goes on around the National Football League with the Chiefs breaking the minds of different fan bases. Speaking of fan bases with broken minds, Sad Fans Bengals edition from the weekend comes our way. Later in the noon hour, we will hear Sad Fans Bengals Part D. And this is all about the Chiefs-Broncos game, before, after, reactions to it, maybe a couple of other threads the last couple days.
Is it sad fans or mad fans?
It's sad fans, mad fans, coping fans, projecting fans. It's a lot that goes on. Those stages of grief? I'm not sure what stage they're in. I do think, I will say this for Bengals fans, there's some picking and choosing and cherry picking here with the sad fans. There's some fun ones, but there was a good amount that were saying, "Hey, this is all our fault. This is all our fault. All our fault. Don't lose the Patriots. All our fault. I don't care what anybody else is doing. This is all our fault." I also enjoyed the arguments of who they're rooting for in the playoffs, and I saw a bunch of them that are rooting for the Lions in the playoffs.
Sure, but
then there's a bunch of pushback that was, "How can you root for another team to get their first Super Bowl before us?" The logic by another, but here's something I kind of agreed with. The logic by another thread was root for the Chiefs because them being dominant is already something we're watching anyway. That's not going to change. But if Lamar or Josh Allen get a Super Bowl before Joe Burrow or the Lions get a Super Bowl before the Bengals, like the Chiefs not winning the Super Bowl is not going to change Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs' legacy of them being a dynasty. Winning, it'll make them the greatest dynasty of all time if they win. But do you want Josh Allen or Lamar or the Lions to have a ring before Joe Burrow or the Bengals? I thought that was an interesting conversation.
Most of the NFC is okay. The AFC, you can't have the Broncos because then Bo Nix as a rookie.
Bo Nix as a rookie.
You can't have Josh Allen.
Nope, because then Josh Allen has a ring and an MVP this year.
Can't have Lamar.
Can't have Lamar because then Lamar would have 2 MVPs in a ring.
Chargers with Justin Herbert because then Herbert's going to get in that conversation.
Herbert would immediately surpass and have a ring.
C.J. Stroud would get in that conversation.
Year number 2, he's
the only one that would make sense besides the Chiefs in the AFC is the Steelers because Russell Wilson. The issue is the AFC North.
Great point. That's a really good point. You're saying they're SOL if anybody in the AFC wins.
That is a bad news Bears situation for Bengals fans.
So, speaking of that, we have Sad Fans Bengals coming up about 12:45, 12:50 or so. So tune in for that. We got the cuts today. Matt Derrick will join us at 11 o'clock. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast, and we will talk with Kendall Gammon at noon. Mick Schaefer will join us about 12:30, and Matt Derrick and Mick Schaefer, they will be joining us here at Golf Track, where we are located today, 161st, just past 159th. It's on right off Metcalf, and they have their grand opening of their second location. So they've had their location at 119th and I-35 Strangline Road there in Lenexa, and that's been open. And this one now opening up today at 11 o'clock. So we are here right now, but at 11 o'clock, the doors open. So, look, perfect time in the wintertime is to come and play some golf with the simulators and check out
the best day for it. Look outside. Look outside and tell me you don't want to go into a nice, warm, luxurious place and hit golf balls.
And you know what? The roads are getting better as the day goes along.
It's really easy to get to. And not only that.
It ain't Monday, all right? It's not Monday. The roads this morning were early, like 6 o'clock, but they're more paved now. But we are here at 161st and Metcalf. So obviously, quick math, quick little geography, just north of 159th and Metcalf.
Boom.
Nailed it.
Are you hungry? Because if you're hungry, starting at 11 o'clock, they are giving away free lunch to the first 100 people.
Do we count?
Barbecue, baby.
Do we count? We're part
We're
of the first 100.
4 people. Yeah, we count.
Oh, yes. So they're giving away barbecue to the first 96 people.
Matt Derrick, so 95 people.
Okay, Mick Schaefer, 94.
Well, Mick Schaefer's not going to get here maybe. He might be one of the first 100. So
that's a good point.
If you want to make sure Mick Schaefer doesn't eat, make sure you come to Golf Track.
But also, we don't know for a fact if Mick's going to be here, right?
I don't know.
I don't want to
assume.
I don't want to speak out of turn, but there may be like a Maryville trip in their future.
So let me just say a couple more things.
A little close to my heart there. Hey, just so you know, Schaefer family, once a Bearcat, always a Bearcat.
Close to my heart is a golf simulator, and that's, again, using TrackMan technology. So,
Close
again, they're giving away lunch, free lunch to the first 100 people. It is barbecue here, again, the south location of Golf Track. They're raffling off a free Scotty Cameron putter. I don't know if I'm allowed to win that one yet or not.
You are.
I would love to win that Scotty Cameron. I'm not allowed. So someone else come and make me jealous.
Yeah.
Come win the Scotty Cameron putter, month's membership as well, T-shirts, water bottles, golf balls, you name it. So make sure you come out here to Golf Track. And we'll do a little closest to the pin action.
Oh, nice.
You'll probably beat me, but then you can say you beat me.
Well, and I've been told that for the raffle, you come up to where we are broadcasting, and it's $100. I'll take care of the money. It's $100, and you enter the raffle, right? And Paul, isn't that what it is? So you come right up where we're broadcasting. I've got this little cup here, this Golf Track cup, and you just put the $100 bill in there. Not ones, because come on, we're not at Shady Lady here. So just put the $100 bill in there, and then we'll take care of your raffle, right? Is that what the deal is? Oh, he doesn't think so. Okay, well, that's what I was told. They're telling me it's free. Son of a gun. Telling me it's free. Have you ever stood at the front of a free admission bar and started charging admission? You ever done that before?
No, because I'm an honest man. But again, this is your chance to get a free Scotty Cameron putter.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that is absurd.
Yeah, for sure. That is pretty legit. I could use it, okay? That's the one thing in my bag that I never changed out was the original putter that I've had since I was like 23 when I started playing golf for the first time in my life. So I've had that, original putter. I've never tried. I've gone to like different golf places to try different types of putters.
Sure.
But never got to the point where I'm like, oh, this is the one I like, so I'm going to pay $150 for it, and then it sucks.
By the way, for closest to the pin, if you want to come out here, again, 11 o'clock, starting here at a Golf Track in the south location, we'll do closest to the pin. You can play against me. You're probably going to beat me, and then you can rub it in my face. But if you're a left-handed player, and you don't want to bring your clubs, right? Maybe they're tucked away for the winter. You can borrow my lefty clubs.
Oh, how about that?
I'm a generous man.
How about that? You're a simple man. You're an honest man, and you're a generous man.
I don't know if you want to call me simple. I don't know.
You're a simple kind of man.
Leonard Skinner, when he's like, I'm a simple man, I'm like, man, that's not really a compliment.
Yeah, it's a Friday. Tuesday's gone, so we are here on a Friday. We got the playoffs coming up tonight. It's all right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Semifinal with Texas and Ohio State, and then the playoffs starting tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the NFL. It's all right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. So our location, Golf Track. You can go to golftrk.com to check out all of the different things and what they provide, and check out the TrackMan technology that they have and the simulators that are here with the same technology that the pros use to improve their game. So it's kind of like a coach. It's kind of like an instructor here without having, an actual instructor here.
They give you all your information right there. I just hit a hybrid, okay? So I just hit a nice little hybrid.
Is club speed 45 good?
94.8 there, guy.
That's not what it says. It says 45.
94.8. Ball speed, 138.6. Doug, you see that.
That's 38.6
Doug,
speed.
I will take a picture of this.
Did you putt that?
That is a carry of 209.4 with the hybrid. Okay. A nice little baby draw. I'm taking a picture so you can't try and tell folk that I'm a liar over here.
It looks like,
But it gives you all the information you need: face angle, face to path, club
I've got
path.
2015 vision, and that says 45.6 club speed.
Oh, Doug has a picture. Doug has a video. Was that a bad one? That was the bad one, Doug, or that's the good one? That's a good one, Doug. Thank you. Thank you, Doug. I appreciate that.
By the way, real quick, Sterling, real quick. Sterling's so good at golf he couldn't tell the difference between his bad swing and his good swing. Was that the bad one?
I don't claim to be good at golf.
That was the bad one. That was the good one.
I don't
That's
claim
right.
to be good at golf.
I'm just saying. I just wanted to point that out. 913-912-4810. That's how the show lines up. Notre Dame playing for a national title. We knew going into the game last night it was either Notre Dame or Penn State that was going to be playing for the national championship. At times it looked like Penn State had control of the game, and they were going to be the ones that won that game. And then Notre Dame retook control of the game.
Yeah.
And then Riley Leonard threw an interception, and Penn State immediately took control of the game again. And then Notre Dame tied it up. And then you've got a punt, and a Drew Aller interception that eventually Jeter, Jeets, you should have shot A-Rod. Jeter comes out on the field and hits yet another field goal.
Good for him, by the way. College kickers, I get so nervous for them. Like, NFL kickers different. You're getting paid a lot of money. That's your job. College kickers, it is a crapshoot. I mean, it really is. The confidence level I have in college kickers is so low.
Yeah.
And how many times do you see them just shank it or just not even get close in those situations, right? So for Jeter to make that kick.
We saw it in the Georgia Notre Dame game.
Yeah, and I know we should expect him to make a 41-yarder. They're on scholarship, all that stuff. But for him in that situation, you saw his dad in the stands, how calm his dad looked.
Yeah.
If that was my kid, I don't know if I could be that calm. But
that's just taken. Maybe it was the Boise State Penn State game that was the missed field goals. Either way, we've seen in these playoffs a couple of good kickers just simply
crumble
field goals. And by the way, that kick allowed everybody's heart to be played with. It's looking like it's good. It starts fading right, and Penn State's like, yeah, and then it just curves back to the left. It was like touchdown Jesus came down and just slid it just a little bit to the left, and it goes in, and it looked like it was good. He's going to miss it, and then he makes it, and they end up winning that game, and now they play for a national title. There are a couple of takeaways from this that I wanted to get into and talk about. I don't know that Notre Dame is going to win a national championship. I think that game is played 2 months from now. No, it's played 10 days from now, January 20th. So they're going to play the Monday of the divisional round in the NFL playoffs. So next weekend, I've said for, 20 years, my favorite weekend in the NFL is the divisional round. I think it is the best weekend of NFL because you have the 8 remaining teams that are typically the best. You usually have really good games. Yeah. You got a chance to go and play for your conference championship that next week. You get 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. And now this year, divisional round weekend, we get 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday, national championship game for college football that next night. So maybe 3 of the best days of football. We were talking about this 5-day stretch, and it started off with a bang last night. It was a great game. But I don't know if Notre Dame's going to win the national title or not. They're going to be the dogs to either Texas or Ohio State. But I saw the quote circulating last night after the game was over from Brian Kelly in 2022 in April when he took the LSU job.
Sure.
And he said, quote, I want to be in an environment where I have the resources to win a national championship. Now, Marcus Freeman's playing for a national championship. Brian Kelly also played for a national title in the BCS.
Sure.
Early on in his career, it was Manti Te'o and the catfished girlfriend. And so they lost that game. So he did play for a national title. So he did get to the exact same spot that Marcus Freeman is getting to. Difference being BCS versus Notre Dame's had to win a couple of games to get to the spot to play on January 20th.
Sure.
They got blown out in that game. Notre Dame did in that championship. But then 10 years later, whatever it is, Brian Kelly's talking about how, well, I want the resource to be able to win a national title because they went a long time without being in that position yet again. And Marcus Freeman, all he has done in just a couple of years is clearly show they have the resources if you put it together and you get the guys to buy in on the same page.
Well, and
Riley Leonard helped, NIL, and what?
And I would say the college football playoffs.
Right,
because Notre Dame would have been in if it was even the 4.
It was the 4.
The BCS, they weren't going to make it, and even if it was the 4, they weren't going to make it. So, again, it's very easy, and I love ripping on Brian Kelly. I love making fun of any man who is from the North and decides to try to go to LSU and all of a sudden get a Southern accent. Me and my family. And so I love to rip on him, but I think it is a little unfair, but it is very, very funny that Notre Dame is playing for a a title well before LSU even had a opportunity to.
It's 3 years later. So he made that quote April of 2022. It's January of 25. So it's a little less than 3 years later of Marcus Freeman getting a chance to play in the national championship. But it's a great point, because if this was a 4-team playoff, it'd be Notre Dame saying, what do they have to do to get over the hump? What do they have to do to get in the top four?
Don't lose to Northern Illinois.
That's exactly right. And they did lose to Northern Illinois, and they have had to win every single game the rest of the way without fail to be able to make the college football playoff. They did, and they've continued to win along the way. Close games, great games, finding ways to battle back. They lost 2 offensive linemen in that game.
Yeah.
Their best defensive lineman has been missing since the middle of the Indiana game anyway. Love has an injured knee. They have a backup quarterback for a drive and a half. Like, they have to battle all of those things and overcome those things. 2 interceptions overturned with, penalties, and I think one was a field goal. The second one was a touchdown for sure. So it's at least 10 points. But they overcome some of those things in that game last night and find ways to win. I thought it was interesting, and, we talk about bulletin board material and if that really matters or not. Once the game starts, the game's going to be played.
Sure.
Okay? And this is the Final Four, so you're not going to go into the game going, boy, I wish the other team would really say something to get us fired up. That'd be great.
And I took that personally.
That's right, exactly. Can you play this clip, Dylan? We didn't play the clip because I didn't realize how much it pissed Marcus Freeman off. But this was from Wednesday. This was their pre-game press conference. Marcus Freeman, James Franklin at the stage at the same time on the dais talking about, their teams, but going through the pre-game media press conference. And it's about a 20-second clip or so, but it's James Franklin just sort of needling and poking a little fun at Marcus Freeman and his age. So here's that quote, because I want to read this quote that came from last night when we find out what that sort of meant to Marcus Freeman. Play that quote, Dylan.
But it'll be a great game, and we're really, really excited about competing. I'm looking over here at Marcus, and how old are you now, Marcus? 38. 38. I mean, look at the hairline on this guy. I mean, envious of his hairline in a lot of ways.
So the video is even better because Marcus Freeman is giving the old, yeah, that's funny. That's really, really funny, guy. We're supposed to be laughing here. We're not behind closed doors, and I can't tell you what I really want to say. Xavier Watts, after the game was over last night in the locker room, said, quote, when Marcus Freeman got back to the team on Wednesday night and they had their meeting, he was angry. He was pissed at the press conference thing. Whatever was going on between them, he was mad about it. All that anger went towards us, and that anger went onto the field. Like, you could tell that he wasn't, having as much fun, but that little sort of comment pissed Marcus Freeman off.
Yeah.
To the point that it was like, bleep you, dude. Clearly, I think Marcus Freeman took it as James Franklin patting him on the head.
Sure.
Look at this guy. What is he, 38 years old? Look at that hairline.
Look at
this
little rascal.
Little young whippersnapper
little
over
kid.
here. That's a young dude, man. I'm grizzled. I've been around a long time. I coached at Vandy for a number of years as a head coach. I've been here. Year 2 or 3 for this guy? But no, it's going to be a really good game. We're excited about it. But, that's the Michael Jordan thing.
Yeah.
And I took that personally.
And what's better is Marcus Freeman just turned 39 today.
Yeah. Last night, after the game was over, was his 39th birthday. So
what a birthday present.
He turned 39 right at the end of the game.
Yeah, because let's be real, college football games last 6 hours.
Well, it's Eastern time, though.
Yeah, true.
So it started at 7:30, but I'm looking at it's 11:15 our time when everything's sort of wrapping up. They're doing the press conference and everything, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. It's his birthday today. Jeremiah Love probably offered the 2 best quotes last night. Again, it's in the locker room. Haven't found the audio of it yet. Just the transcript of it. He said, talking about James Franklin again, said, I'm not going to speak on their head coach, but we felt like their team didn't really respect us. We wanted to come into this game and make a statement, be the aggressors, dominate them physically. That's the message. Be physical and play violent the whole game. We went out and played like the dogs that we are. We ain't no little dogs. We're big dogs. They was the little dogs today, little cats, whatever you want to call them.
By the way, and he showed that on that touchdown run he had where he got – I was perplexed on how he got in because I actually thought Penn State did a good job rallying. One guy I looked like went low to try and take out his legs.
Abdul Carter went above him, thinking that maybe he was going down.
But I
still.
have zero idea how he was able to keep that contact balance of a guy who was questionable to play because of just everything transpiring. Yeah. I was shocked at his ability to stay on his feet and score a touchdown on that particular play.
That play was unbelievable, man. That was will and heart, and as Dan Campbell would say, grit. He's got the injured knee, and he finds a way to get in the end zone there. He said he wasn't going to, jump over players, and then he went and jumped over a player that would have been a 2-yard loss. Instead, it was a 2-yard gain because he completely leaped over the guy. Like that dude's so explosive and has been a big difference maker for that team. But look. After the game, you can talk, right? Because the Chiefs talked about Burrowhead and all this, Burrowhead my ass, right? If they would have lost that game, Burrowhead, that didn't matter to us. We were just coming out to play a game, right? We were just coming out to play a game. They won.
Yes.
Credit them, but, we'll figure out whatever's going on in the offseason. We'll be back here again next year to try to win a Super Bowl. After the game is over, the victors get to write the history. Burrowhead, where's Burrowhead at? Yeah, all talking. Oh, they were talking all week, all that trash talk. Yeah, we were ready to play, right? And in this one, you hear Jeremiah Love, you hear Xavier Watts, you hear, at least they heard Marcus Freeman, like being as annoyed and mad and frustrated and felt like Penn State was just sort of disrespecting them. Maybe that helped along the way. I don't know. Maybe it helped him not fall behind 13-0 in the first quarter. Sure. I had no idea. But once the game starts, the game starts. But clearly after the game is over, it was something that bothered them enough that they were thinking about it throughout the game. Does that matter in the playoffs with the, NFL this weekend, whether that be, the Broncos being told that, oh, it's cute that you won, but really it's the Chiefs that went and laid down? Is it the Texans? The Chargers are going to come in and whip you anyway. Everybody knows the Chargers are going to win that game. Texans, you guys are frauds, and you guys have been awful the last month of the season. I don't know how much that will affect them. But I thought it was interesting hearing those quotes after the game because they were not hesitating to let people know what was going on inside Notre Dame's locker room about how they felt like they were perceived from Penn State's side.
Well, it took the second half for them to really get going, huh? The first half didn't matter.
They also said the halftime locker room was also Marcus Freeman letting them know about the disrespect, and now you guys are playing right into their disrespect. They don't respect you, and you guys are playing like it. You guys are showing whether. And then they came out, drove right down the field, scored a touchdown.
Love it.
And tied that game up. We'll take a timeout. I do want to talk about the coaches. Marcus Freeman, and he's playing for a national title. Is Marcus Freeman the best-looking man to ever coach in a national championship game? And why is the answer yes? I mean, right? It's not even close. God, that guy's so good-looking, dude. I mean, I was distracted at times.
Pause.
No, don't. He's really good-looking. Also, get some pants that fit, Marcus, okay? My wife is now wanting to watch Notre Dame football. It's weird. We are here at Golf Track. It's 161st and Metcalf, our location today, and it's such a cool spot. They've got the TrackMan technology, just the same thing that the pros use. And today, the grand opening at the spot we're at, which is 161st and Metcalf, they open at 11. So you got 30 minutes before these doors open, and they're going to be raffling off a free Scotty Cameron putter, a month's membership, giving away free lunch to the first 100 people that show up here. They're giving away T-shirts, water bottles, golf balls, things like that when you come down here and check out what Golf Track is and the grand opening today. And look, man, you're not going to be able to go to the links anytime soon around the area, so come on down here and get some swings in, watching the TGL on Tuesday night. And you're like, I kind of want to go play a little golf, man. Go hit it at the simulator. Well, Golf Track can do that for you. GolfTRK.com is where you can check them out. But we are at Golf Track, new location off 161st and Metcalf. We'll take a timeout, come back. I want to talk a little bit about the coaches. Matt Derrick joins us at 11 o'clock. Kendall Gammon, Mick Schaefer, and Sad Fans Bengals Part 2 later on in the show. More Zone next. located on 161st and Metcalf. Hanging out here until 2 o'clock today. Their doors open at 11 o'clock. This is the grand opening of their new location, 161st and Metcalf. And with the grand opening, they are hooking you guys up with a raffle that will be giving away a free Scotty Cameron putter and also a month's membership. They're going to give away free lunch to the first 100 people that show up here. They got T-shirts, water bottles, golf balls. So come down, say hi. Closest to the pin contest with Sterling.
Yeah,
if you get closest to the pin, you get his Jeep. That's cool.
No.
How generous.
You get a high five. Wow.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe we'll.
I'm a little partial. I'll take a high C right now.
You know what you'll get? You'll get some barbecue.
Yes.
If you beat me, you get some barbecue. If you lose, you get some barbecue. It's really a win-win.
High C, sitting in the park, waiting for me. What shall I do? High C. It's an old song. You wouldn't know it. 913-912-4810. Andy Reid will be talking today, his press conference as well. But we've got Matt Derrick, we've got Lee Sterling, we've got Kendall Gammon, we got Mick Schaefer, we got Sad Fans Bengals, we got Cuts, we got all that still to come. I wanted to weigh in just real quick on the is Andy starting right now? Is Dylan He's on? Okay. Well, let's go ahead and tune in to Andy Reid then.
The end of next week there. So.
I know you've talked about this subject before, but Matt and Steve are having these opportunities. It's your take on both individuals' readiness to jump back in and be a head coach.
Yeah, Pete, I mean, you know this from what I've said before, that I think both of them deserve an opportunity again to be head coaches. They're obviously getting some play here, so other people recognize that too. And we'll just see where it goes. I know they're focused on taking care of business now here, and and then looking at these other things this week, and then that stops after this week.
We'll go next to Jesse. Go ahead, Jesse.
They said, I'll have a follow-up too. Andy, following up on what Pete said about the left tackle, obviously you got a couple weeks here to figure this thing out, but what factors are going to be most important when determining, which guy you're going to go with there?
Yeah, well, the best part is that they both are good players. So, and Kelly Endo's playing well too. So I'm not too worried about that whole situation, but we'll just see how it plays out. Andy rotates them during the week anyway, so they'll all get work, and we'll just go from there. But you obviously you want the best combination, but I think in this case you got three guys there that are pretty good players.
And Harrison Butker has been such a huge part of your guys' postseason success. With him coming off the injury, I just wonder where you feel like you guys are at with him heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, sure. No, he's working through that, and he'll be fine. He's a hard worker. That's what he does, and he's a perfectionist on everything. And so he'll just keep cranking, and I think he's getting better. Excuse me. I think he's getting better every day as he goes through this.
We'll go next to Todd. Go ahead, Todd.
Coach, I've got a couple things not particularly related to the game coming up. First off, you're from Los Angeles out there. Any effect with these fires, friends and family, or anything that is hitting close to home for you with where those are happening?
Yeah, I've had a couple of friends that had some problems out there, but our hearts go out to all those people. Prayers are with them, and hopefully they get these things contained. They're all in different areas of the city, but those ones along the coast there, those are rough ones. So we pray for everybody's safety, number one.
And this one is like kind of a big question, I guess, about just overall things. But you spent a lot of time in Green Bay early, and the legacy of those teams back in the 60s and how that kind of, naming streets after people and all that. I know you guys just played Pittsburgh. You probably look up in the stands and see Terry Bradshaw jerseys and all that. You guys are kind of making that legacy here. I know you don't think about these things all the time, but what do you think maybe 20 years down the road people will think about this run you guys are having here in Kansas City and how much things like this mean in towns like this?
Yeah, listen, I mean, there's no place better to do it than right here in Kansas City. But when you're in the middle of it, you really don't think about it. you're thinking about the next game. I mean, that's just how this business is. When you look in the rearview mirror, then you normally get your tail kicked. So you got to be careful of that. And but we're just trying to keep pushing forward. But at the same time, we know we've got great fans. I don't ever want to slight that part. I mean, Arrowhead's an unbelievable place to play. Um, with the support of GH as part of this thing too. So, but we, the thing I enjoy the most and about the present is, for however great this thing is, these guys are so humble and they work so hard, and I appreciate that part from a coach's standpoint.
We'll go next to Sam. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy, just wondered if you could give us an outline of what, with the week off, what this weekend looks like for you guys. And then also, there's obviously 4 different possible opponents that you guys could play next week. How do you sort of prepare for the possibility of 4 different teams?
Yeah, Sam. So we actually have played, which is crazy, but we've played all the teams that are in the playoffs. And
Yeah.
so you got to go back, though. You can't be content with that. So the 4 teams that we have a chance to potentially play in a couple weeks here, we've tried to hammer those out, and we're going to continue to do that until we find out what the results are. Probably Sunday night, somewhere in that area. So, or at least late afternoon, I'd imagine. But so we'll figure it out and see where it goes. But we're going to try to be ready for all of them while we have this time. And we've tried to use it smart as a coaching staff. At the same time, we want to make sure our players are fresh, but still stay sharp. So they work today in pads, and they'll go tomorrow, and then Sunday, whether it's a Saturday game or a Sunday game, they'll have Sunday off.
We'll go next to Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach. Going into that last game, you had a couple of injuries that you guys were keeping up injury related, and obviously Chamari got banged up in that game too. How are Pacheco and Jawan, Chris, Chamari? How are those guys doing right now?
Yeah, well, listen, they all practiced today, so that was a good thing, Matt, that they were all able to get in there and bang it around a little bit, and so that was the big plus. So they're all doing well. To answer your question, they're doing well.
We'll go next to Adam.
Hey, Andy, wanted to ask you about Jalen Watson, how he's looked so far in the time you've had with him on the practice field since he's been back, and what realistic shot he might have at playing when you do play another game. And Sid, I'll have another question as well.
So Adam, he worked last week. He came out of those workouts and felt good. He worked hard today, and we did a lot of one-on-one stuff today, so ones versus ones. And so he was able to get in there and work that. And he looked good from what I've seen. I haven't gone back and looked at the tape yet, but it looked like he was moving around pretty good.
Okay. And you touched a little bit about what this upcoming weekend is going to look like for you. But what have you been up to since the Denver game? Has there been anything practice-wise?
Yeah, no, we gave the guys time off there, and it's very similar to 2 years ago, about the same schedule as we had 2 years ago. So it's almost to the point, to the T. Coaches have worked, Adam, just so you know that. Talk down it.
Mm-hmm. We'll go next to Nate. Go ahead, Nate.
Andy, considering that you did give guys the time off and you've been through this before, do you have an idea of how much earning the 1 seed will be beneficial for you guys in terms of however you want to divvy up the amount of snaps for Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, considering both of them have, touched the ball quite a bit, and obviously Pacheco has the injury?
Yeah, Nate, you know how that position, that's a tough position. Now you take a beating at that position. So, I think this period of time, the rest period, it benefits a lot of people, but those running backs really, I mean, that's a good time for recovery. And I think they were smart with it. All the guys have been working out, so they're kind of chomping at the bit to get going. And so that's kind of how you want it. They knew that this bye week was going to be different than your in-season bye week, and so they've all been in working and doing their thing. To answer your question with those two, I don't know how he'll divvy up. I would imagine it'll just end up being the same as we've been doing with them. They'll both be in there paddling,
Let's go to Vahe.
Hey, Andy. I know you're focused obviously on what's directly in front of you, but I guess the players, everybody's aware of what the ultimate goal would be. Do you find any direct value in saying out loud what the historic possibilities are here? Is that something that it's worth reinforcing?
Yeah, no, I don't think it is, Vahe. I mean, it's the important thing is that you stay focused on the team at hand, that you're gonna have an opportunity to play. It's for the coaches. It's important that we know all these teams, and then being able to put together a game plan where the players can execute it fast. And you start getting caught up in the what ifs and all that, you get into trouble. You just got to take the next one and let's go and play our best and do the best you can do, and then let the chips fall where they may. But you got to make sure you maximize that part. And if anything gets in the way of that, you got to get rid of it. So it'll hinder you better than help you.
Okay, thanks, Andy, and best to all your friends in LA. Sorry about what they're going through.
Yeah, thanks, Vahe.
We'll go. There's two left. Go ahead, Nick.
And Sonia, I have a follow-up if I can, please. Andy, for the veterans on the team that have been through this run before from a playoff perspective, how beneficial is that for you guys to where they've been in those biggest moments and those toughest situations to lean on?
Yeah, for sure, Nick. I mean, that's the experience helps, especially with some of the younger guys, to be able to talk to them and tell them about the urgency of this thing. It is single elimination. That's easier said than putting that in your brain and getting yourself right for every snap that you have practice hard and aggressive with. So you just got to make sure you stay focused and don't let distractions in there the best you can.
And for you guys as a coaching staff with those young guys, how do you guys approach, maybe from a practice perspective or something, trying to give them that tempo outside of what they've experienced in a regular season against some of the opponents?
Right. So Nick, today we did ones versus ones. I mean, that'd be an example of what you're saying. So they get that speed and against each other and have to compete, and these are all competitive guys, but you put the ones out there against each other, they really get competitive, and that's kind of a fun thing to be a part of, and it's good for the guys. It's good to get caught up like that on the speed part of it.
Last one. We'll go back to Matt.
Thanks, Sydney, and thanks, Coach. Well, I know this is one of the last things on your mind right now, Coach, but the team is doing a survey of fans about what they want to see in a new stadium or a remodeled stadium. Any requests that you would give to Clark? Anything that stands out and is important to you and for the players that you would want in a stadium or to make sure is in a new practice facility for you guys?
No, but I'd probably start with the hot dogs, Matt. I don't know. I haven't been asked that. So I haven't put any thought into that, actually. I did have the experience when I was at Philadelphia they asked me about it, and I gave my 2 cents about the practice facility, but that's the only experience I have with something like that. And I think that's down the road anyways. So that's not something I need to be concerned about right now.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. That's all we got.
There's Andy Reid in his press conference. They get ready for we don't know. The Houston Texans, Los Angeles Chargers, Denver Broncos, or they would face off against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
And so those are the 4 teams. They have already played those 4 teams, so they do have that particular advantage in the fact that they played those 4 teams, and keeping the guys ready to go, keeping them fresh by giving them the week off. But after that Denver game, but they're now back ready to go. Pads today, 1s versus 1s, a little training camp action, right? 1v1, and the 1s versus the 1s. Not only 1-on-1, but the 1s out there with the offense versus the 1s on defense. And as Andy Reid said, these guys are competitive as it is, but when you go good on good, the competitiveness really comes out. So you start to ramp up the juices and ramp up that intensity as they get ready for what I think will be Saturday, but we'll see, next Saturday or Sunday. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling. More Zone next. golf track. TrackMan Simulator. Then I heard the music and I had to sprint over here. That was a good 7 yards I just sprinted. Can't you hear how winded I am? Can't wait to get out there against whatever team we're playing in the divisional round, huh? Took this week off. Now what? If you're like the Chiefs, I think they're in better shape than I am. But you know what? Matt Derrick will join us. That man was hard at work. While we were listening to Andy Reid, that man was asking questions, okay? Coming up with good questions, presenting them correctly. He wasn't shot jockeying, wasn't hot taking. It was very well done, and we'll talk with how much prep he put into that next. technology right there. We're doing a little closest to the pin right there.
Do you like that green and red right there? I'm the closest right now at 49.7 feet away. It's
what
not
was mine
great.
on my last swing? Now, it wasn't on the green.
Yeah, you got to be on the green.
Why? It says closest to the pin. It doesn't say closest to the pin
Okay.
while also on the green. Matt, does it say closest to the pin while also on the green?
Well, you weren't closer to the pin, even if you were weren't on the green.
Yeah,
Maybe not closer to the pin.
Either way, yeah. It was. You got closer than Matt Derrick, though.
I think I was pretty
Matt
close.
Derrick water, and then I'm not even sure what happened on the second swing.
Matt
That was-
Derrick goes, that's too much club. I'm not going to hit that, and proceeds to top one directly into the water.
Here's
well,
the thing.
That was because I took
Too
a
much club.
three-quarter swing.
I think I was pretty.
I needed an 8.
I think I was
had
pretty
a 7
close.
in my hand.
I think
You
I was
need
pretty
about a
close.
6.
I was close to the pin. It was a front pin location on the green. Okay, and I landed just short of the green. I think I was closer. I'm going to go ahead and
I
go
think
with
my
that one.
three-quarter swing ended up being like a 2/3.
Even with my potential Tommy John surgery coming up,
I should have taken the pitching wedge and just muscled up.
Just muzzle up the pitching wedge. Is it easier to club up, or is it easier to muscle up, or go easier on a club
Just
that you feel like
swing
you
a
have
little
to?
easier.
It's easier.
Take more club and swing easy.
Swing, try less hard, as George Brett would say. We are here at Golf Track. It is 161st Street as the location, the grand opening of this new location in Overland Park, 161st and Metcalf. The doors open already. It opened at 11 o'clock, so the doors are open. The first 100 people here getting a free lunch, raffling off a free Scotty Cameron putter and a month's membership. Also giving away T-shirts, water bottles, and golf balls. Sterling is giving away high fives if you can be closer to the pin than he was. And we're giving away golf lessons to people that have literally never played golf before. That's the lesson I would give them if you have never played before. So Golf Track, golftrk.com if you want to check it out. But thousands of courses that they have here, and a perfect spot in the snowy months, because that's what we're witnessing and going through right now. So you can check out Golf Track, golftrk.com, and the TrackMan simulators that they have here, the technology that the pros use as well, and playing all these famous courses. But it's really cool, helping you improve your game. I thought it was cool a little bit earlier, right as the doors opened. A guy and his young son, I'd say his son probably looked about 7 or 8, and they're talking about, what they're doing in the winter and the program for his golf game. And I'm like, that's awesome. That's pretty awesome. This is 153rd and Metcalf is where the baseball lab is.
Yeah.
So my son and I were there Wednesday. We'll be there tonight at the baseball lab as well. So I really felt, that father's, winter program of like, well, this is what we're doing in the wintertime. I'm like, yeah, we were doing that Wednesday. We were pitching Wednesday. We got our full baseball workout tonight. So we got some pitching, fielding, and hitting tonight at the baseball lab. So, yeah, looking forward to this is right around the corner. I'll be here again tonight. But Golf Track is the spot for you if you're working on your golf game or your kids or you, whatever you are looking for. It's the future of golf, and they have this free Scotty Cameron putter that they will be giving away. Matt Derrick is our guest, hanging out with us here for the 11 o'clock hour. Matt, I guess we'll start with what we heard from Andy Reid. If you had any, general takeaways from Andy Reid and your hard work in putting together those masterful questions. I thought those were brilliant questions. Those are the only questions I wanted to hear. So I thought you nailed it, by the way. But Andy Reid saying, look, he gave the guys the time off. They've been here before. It's almost the exact same script as 2 years ago when they had the bye week and also rested their starters on that last week. And they had pads today. They'll have some pads again, maybe tomorrow. They did ones versus ones today, so not one-on-one, but you got good on good. And as he said, these guys are competitive as it is, but you throw the pads on and you've got 1 versus 1. It got pretty competitive out there today. So that's good because they're staying in that intensity level because it gets crazy next Saturday or Sunday. So, Matt, anything that stood out for you of Andy Reid and his sort of update before we find out a couple of days from now who the Chiefs will even be playing?
Well, I mean, I asked obviously about the injuries, and that was one of the things that was most, standing out to me, and notable that all of the guys who did not practice or came out of that Broncos game injured all practiced today. So that tells you a pretty good situation about where this team is injury-wise. That's great. I thought it was You know, even aside from the DJ Humphries question, which he kind of punted on, we'll get that to you later.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to see how it
we'll
goes.
Just have to see how it goes.
Andy rotates those guys anyway.
Brett Veach handles that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Rick today, so I can't give you an update yet.
And there's probably a little bit of making people want to guess, making the opponents not want to know for sure what they're going to do. If they can make people think a little bit. But and honestly, the other standout to me was a little bit of, and this is certainly some of the further you get Andy Reid out from a football game, the more jovial he is. But Andy Reid was in a good mood today.
He really was.
He was smiling, he was laughing, he was joking. I mean,
when you asked about it, he talked about hot dogs.
Asked him about what he wanted in a new stadium since the Chiefs are doing a survey with the fans, what they want. Asked him what he wanted, and he said, "I just care about the hot dogs." I mean,
I thought it would be the cheeseburgers. That was a nice little curveball from Andy.
Well, you're in a game,
It's playoff time.
It's hot dogs.
But it's playoff time, so he's doing different things than he had done all season long. So now, different wrinkles. He went hot dog. He's already in his different wrinkle mind for these opponents.
He's a former journalist. He knows that there's hot dogs available at halftime.
They should call him the Royal Reed
game,
for Royals games. He's
Royal
a big, because hot dogs at Royals games, you should have a Royal Reed.
100%.
I'm not trying to hijack the show or anything here, but we do have breaking news.
No, I did not know.
AP All-Pro team out.
Is it really?
It is out.
I saw the NFLPA All-Pro team.
The Associated Press All-Pro team, which is the number one. Number two is, I think, PFWA, which will be coming out later. But
where do you put NFLPA? Is that third?
AP NFLPA
because that already came out. That was Creed, Tooney, and Chris Jones.
It's down there. And Creed, Tooney, Chris Jones were first team All-Pro AP.
Okay.
Trent McDuffie was second team.
So he was second team All-Pro.
Second team All-Pro.
And no team Pro Bowl.
There you go. Which tells you a lot about just how nonsensical the Pro Bowl selections are.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody takes them seriously. And I know from talking to Trent McDuffie, I mean, if he got named All-Pro, that was going to mean more to him than Pro Bowl for sure.
Yeah, and it does, but it doesn't mean more in money. Was it you and I? Were we the ones having the conversation last week about why they don't include All-Pro, or maybe it's just an assumption that if you're an All-Pro, you're going to be a Pro Bowl? But
honestly, I mean, I think it's because the teams have some control over who makes the Pro Bowl. Because remember, coaches have, evaluators, whatever coaches, PR departments, whoever fill out the ballots, they have a third control over that. And it's, I think, harder for rookies and younger players in their first contract to make a Pro Bowl than it is for them to make All-Pro, and that's evidence here. Because I think writers, I think the journalists that cover the league, I mean, I think they're much more willing to acknowledge that, a younger player can be All-Pro, Pro Bowl caliber. Mm-hmm. Whereas, when you've got the Pro Bowl selections, which are a third coaches, a third players, and a third fans, I mean, no offense to the fans, but a lot of times fans is just popular vote. And, a third of that is controlled by, if it's controlled by popularity, you could be the whim of a fan base, like Kansas City has done, that just pack the vote. You can be the whim of, the NFL evaluators who may not want to reward. They know that where the money's buttered. They know that rewarding younger players and putting them in the Pro Bowl gives them bonuses, and they know who's got the acknowledgement there. So anytime you can control the contract and you can tweak the results a little bit. I mean, and there's no transparency in Pro Bowl, and the league controls it. So that's why. I mean, if you're the league and you're negotiating a CBA, that's why you're going to put Pro Bowl in there. But
interesting.
When All-Pro is not put in there, to me, I mean, that's just the NFLPA once again falling asleep at the switch. It's once again just not representing their players. And if it's little details like that in the CBA that continually cost players money. And Trent McDuffie got cost money because they didn't put All-Pro in there in addition to Pro Bowl as being an escalator for that fifth-year option.
So we talk about that, so it's like roughly $4 million. My question would be, will it matter in losing that money because a fifth-year option we wouldn't think would really be the case, and the Chiefs will probably give him a contract that I think we talked about last week as well. So that money that's lost, it's principle. There's the principle of the matter that there might be teams. I'll go ahead and get your mic for you, Sterling. There might be teams that that go for a fifth-year option, and that would affect that player if they weren't a Pro Bowler. But for Trent McDuffie, I mean, I'm hoping something gets done this summer, and if it does that $4 million that he loses by not being a Pro Bowler come into play, where the Chiefs are going to be giving him a contract that would be representative of where his place is in the NFL, whether he was named to the Pro Bowl this year or not.
But, remember, I mean, he was All-Pro last year, second-team All-Pro this year. That's two. I mean,
2 times.
Had he been named to the Pro Bowl twice, I believe that's a $7 million escalator on that fifth-year option. And that's leverage.
So then that's leverage,
that's
right?
Leverage.
Yeah.
I mean, because now Trent McDuffie can say, well, wait a minute. I'm trying to think about what it would be. I think that would end up being like 20, I can't remember. I shouldn't probably say the numbers since I don't remember for sure, but I think it's like mid-teens versus almost mid-20s as far as what that fifth-year option could be, and that's leverage. I mean, Trent McDuffie, if he's making, say, $24 million in that fifth-year option instead of 17, that can be him saying, you know what, hey, for that money, I'm willing to play out the option.
Almost $12 million for Trent McDuffie's fifth-year option.
Yeah.
12th-year option. So almost $12 million. So if it's a $7 million escalator, you're looking at $19 million he would be making in that 1 year, guaranteed money.
And if that's $7 million extra for 1 year, you might, if you're Trent McDuffie, you might say, yeah, let's roll. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Because I can take $19 million versus 12, and that means I'm going to be a free agent or franchise tag. I mean, that just escalates the potential of the value of the franchise tag. So,
what's kind of interesting is looking at the All-Pro team. So we're talking about it from the Chiefs' perspective. First-team All-Pro quarterback is Lamar Jackson. The tight end is Brock Bowers, Joe Tooney, Creed Humphrey. Just looking at some of the particulars here. Chris Jones, interior defensive lineman. The cornerbacks that, it was Stingley and Patrick Surtain. I'm okay with them being the first team. But then you look at the second team, cornerbacks Trent McDuffie and Christian Gonzalez. Neither of those guys were Pro Bowlers because Christian Gonzalez didn't make the Pro Bowl because it was Slay, or it was Ward and Humphrey were the ones that made the Pro Bowl for the AFC. But here's what's significant to me, Matt, in the AP team coming out, and Lamar Jackson being first team and Josh Allen being second team.
Fire away. We're ready.
2023, All-Pro first-team quarterback, Lamar Jackson. MVP, Lamar Jackson. 2022, All-Pro first-team quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. MVP, Patrick Mahomes. 2021, Aaron Rodgers. 2020, Aaron Rodgers. 2019, Lamar. 2018, Patrick. 2017, Tom Brady. 2016, Matt Ryan. 2015, Cam Newton. 2014, Aaron Rodgers. You see where I'm going.
I think
all
I
the way
know
back
where you're
to 2007
with this.
All the way back to 2007. And while Peyton Manning in 2012 wasn't the MVP, Adrian Peterson was, Manning finished second, but was an All-Pro first team. If Josh Allen wins the MVP this year, he would be breaking a trend of quarterbacks that are first-team All-Pros that were not the MVP that year, if it's Josh Allen.
I don't think Josh Allen's going to win an MVP.
You think it's going to be Lamar winning his third and back-to-back?
I mean, 30 of the 50 voters selected Lamar ahead of Josh. So you got to assume 30 of the 50 aren't going to be picking Josh Allen. I mean, they're not. Nobody's switching. So that's 30 votes.
And that's typically why you see the MVP being directly aligned with the first-team All-Pro quarterback.
The only, and I'm really intrigued about this one, and this is the one that surprises me. I mean, I don't think he's going to win, but, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, right now, in my PFWA vote, I'm leaning towards Saquon Barkley for MVP. Because I think his year was more of an outlier than Lamar's year was. I think he's been more important to what the Eagles have accomplished than what they've done. I mean,
team established the run.
I'm not saying that if you take Lamar Jackson off and replace him with an average player that the Ravens are the Ravens. I mean, but I'm not sure that this Eagles team this year, I'm not sure they are what they are without Saquon Barkley for sure. And he had an outlier year. I mean, Lamar Jackson had a nice year. Josh Allen had a nice year. Joe Burrow had a nice year. Were any of them Patrick Mahomes in 2018? No, and especially not Joe Burrow, which I've been just told that Joe Burrow just had this incredible year.
But they also had a Triple Crown winner at wide receiver. Wouldn't that almost make it more of Jamar Chase versus Joe?
I could make that argument for sure too. Here's another thing in the voting that I find curious is that Travis Kelce finished 5th.
Yeah.
At tight end.
That's interesting.
Kind of, I got 2 votes. I mean, I guess 2
so
points.
So Brock Bowers, George Kittle, was it Jonnu Smith?
Trey McBride from Arizona
yeah,
was
of course.
3rd.
Makes sense.
And Mark Andrews was 4th. He
Mark
got
Andrews
4
was
points,
4th?
and he got 1 first-place vote.
Mark Andrews was
Mark Andrews
first?
Yes.
What, because the last 3 weeks?
And here's another disappointment to me. I mean, not saying that Cam Hayward didn't have a great year, but he finished 1st ahead of Chris Jones. Chris Jones was number 2. I mean, they still both make first team, and it was close, 29-26 as far as first place votes, and 98-93 in terms of total points. Nick Bolton and Leo Chenal both got points at linebacker and votes.
I think Cam Hayward, by the way, deserved it. I thought Cam Hayward had a ridiculous season. Not that he was more important than anyone else on that Steelers defensive line. People that kept talking about T.J. Watt, I go, it's not T.J. Watt. It's actually Cam Hayward this year that made that defense go. I didn't have a huge issue with that, actually, because it wasn't just the sack numbers, but it was also the fact that he was consistently knocking balls down. I thought Cam Hayward, sorry, I didn't mean to go on a tangent here, but I really thought that him, especially at his age, was just absurd at what he did this year.
Yeah. And interestingly, at corner, Trent McDuffie did get 15 first-team votes. So, I mean, he finished 3rd in the voting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, my
How
ballot...
close was he to Stingley?
91 to 61 point-wise. I mean, and maybe it's distance bias for me as far as just watching Trent McDuffie. I mean, my PFWA ballot is going to have Patrick Surtain and Trent McDuffie on the first team. I'll have Stingley on second team. So
yeah. No, I mean, we talked about it from the Pro Bowl perspective. I'm like, the AFC has some awesome players. For the Pro Bowl, we talked about it. Surtain and Stingley, not really arguing if Trent McDuffie is on the Pro Bowl team or is not on the Pro Bowl team, and those guys are. It's more of the Marlon Humphrey, Denzel Ward were the issues there, because Christian Gonzalez also not on the Pro Bowl, and Christian Gonzalez is the second team defense. All 4 cornerbacks in the the AP are in the AFC. Christian Gonzalez, Trent McDuffie, Derek Stingley, and of course Patrick Surtain. That's there. Also interesting, first and second team, there's only 1 rookie of all the of all the first and second team AP votes. It's Brock Bowers. Because I'm looking through, I'm a little surprised Brian Thomas didn't make second team wide receiver.
Yeah.
They've got McLaurin, CeeDee Lamb, and A.J. Brown. I thought Brian Thomas would probably be worthy of being an all-pro vote getter. But, yeah, I'm looking through. I don't see another rookie except for Brock Bowers. And Brock Bowers absolutely worthy. And I'm not saying there was another rookie that would have been worthy of those things.
You keep saying worthy a lot. So
no, that's not the case. No. Why isn't somebody more worthy of these things there? But Brock Bowers had just an amazing season. And, boy, I don't know. That GM that drafted him and a couple of other sort of foundational offensive linemen in the draft last year, you'd probably think you want to hold on to that guy, right? Tom Telesco? Oh, wait, no, they fired him.
Not so much.
They fired him. They finally found a GM that found 3 guys in one draft that could be foundational pieces, and they went ahead and fired him.
Get a generational tight end.
Got to get that guy out of here.
It was so funny with him with the Chargers, too, because the whole knock was never that he couldn't draft or identify talent. The whole thing was everyone he drafted got injured. It was like, well, at some point he's got to move on. Everyone keeps getting injured. Let's switch things up here.
Yeah. So there you go, the all-pro first and second team. It is out. The Chiefs have 4 players total. 3 first-team All-Pros and 1 second-team. 3 first teams are Joe Tooney, Creed Humphrey, Chris Jones. Second team, Trent McDuffie as a cornerback is the second-team All-Pro. Real quick before we move on from this, this is just a quick little pick of your brain and get the temperature right now. Does something get done with McDuffie this summer? Is he signed long-term this summer?
My sense is that that's one of the top priorities for this team. I mean, that they would like to get done sooner than later. Sometimes it seems like these things, if they do get done this time of year with the Chiefs, it's later in the process. I'm not convinced that's not always by design, because obviously, hey, and come March, you might actually have a lot of room in salary cap space that you freed up to go into free agency. It's probably the worst time to try and negotiate because then the agent can say, hey, you got a lot of space and salary cap space, so let's bump up that number a little bit. The Chiefs do like to negotiate from a situation of, hey, we've got $3 million in cap space this year. We need to kick this money around and maybe bring that dollar amount down a little bit. Let's use our leverage. Yeah. So, hey, if something didn't get done until September, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. But no,
I don't want them to be in a position like they were with Chris Jones, where it was, we're trying to get this done so we can maybe set up for these other decisions we need to make, to where, hey, we want to get this Trent McDuffie thing done so we know what we have with other decisions to make, and it doesn't get done and they have to go to plan B or C. Who knows?
But their number one priority as far as their own free agency last year was Creed Humphrey. Got him done in August.
That's true.
So
yeah,
Noah Gray I don't think was necessarily number one, was definitely at least number 4. Could have been higher, but say solidly number 4, but they got that done in August. As much as they would like to have gotten Trey Smith and Nick Bolton done, I think maybe it just wasn't realistic for them, and maybe that's an indication of the fact of the realism of either one of those guys being back next year. But no, Trent McDuffie's number 1 with the bullet. That's the deal that I think that they want to get done.
So in re-signing their guys, that would be the main goal and target. In overall, number 1 would be left tackle, right?
As overall, yeah. Solidifying.
That's what I mean. Just simply overall, like this is our main number 1 goal. Who is left tackle? Number 1 goal in re-signing ours, Trent McDuffie. Number 1 goal of the offseason, we got to stop effing around with left tackle. And get something done.
And honestly, and I'm not saying I was right because
say it.
Xavier Worthy, I think is going to be an outstanding player. There's no doubt about that. But I would have been willing to make a Patrick Mahomes-esque deal.
Yeah, you did talk about
for
that.
Joe Wolf.
You did talk about that. Do whatever it takes.
Do whatever it takes.
Trade.
It doesn't
I
matter.
don't think you could have, man. I don't think they could have gotten up or given up enough draft capital that wouldn't have been beyond hampering to get that high.
2 first, a couple seconds.
But look how important that is.
Yeah, he's been so good.
And honestly, you gave up 2 1s from Mahomes. I'd have given up 3 to protect him. So.
Yeah,
there's no guarantee, especially when you're the Chiefs and you're drafting late every single year. One, you're never getting first-round talent. That's just the reality.
If you're
getting a second-rounder with every single one of these first-round picks.
If you're going to get a left tackle of the future,
don't even think about it in those terms. Don't even think about it in those terms. If you're the Chiefs and you're drafting late in the first round every single year, and you need to give up 3 first-rounders, don't even say you're giving up 3 first-rounders. You're giving up 3 second-rounders.
So you're telling me right now, though, basically, you're done with Kingsley. You're basically telling me right now.
I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying done as far as him on the team or making an impact, but I'm saying, are you saying he's done being the guy at left tackle? Are you ready to say it's not going to work for him?
I don't think I'm there, and I don't think the Chiefs are necessarily there. I think that it's probably – I think they would be naive if they didn't say it's plan B at this point.
Yeah, you can't go into the offseason and say Kingsley's our left tackle this year. You can go into the offseason saying Kingsley's our left tackle if these other options we went to did not materialize.
And maybe plan C, because, if plan A is trying to find your left tackle of the future, or at least somebody who can be your left tackle for the next 3 years, and that's a free agent of some sort. Well, Juwan Taylor's on this team next year no matter what. Cap-wise. Doesn't mean he's going to be there in 26. He's going to be there in 25.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether he's your right tackle or your left tackle. You're paying him like a left tackle. Yeah. So if you want to move him to left tackle, that's still an option. I'm not saying that's plan A. Maybe that's plan B. Yeah. And if you can't find the left tackle that you want, maybe you do consider moving Juwan to left tackle next year. And then it's Kingsley or Wanye at right tackle. But, if you're the Chiefs and what you've seen this year, you can't say that your left tackle of the future is on this roster for sure right now.
Absolutely.
Maybe they are, but you can't plan on that, and you certainly can't plan on it for 25.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll continue rolling. Matt Derrick is our guest. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. We're hanging out at Golf Track 161st and Metcalf. It is the grand opening today of Golf Track. This location, they've got the location over in Lenexa, I-35 and 119th Street, but this one opening their doors today. They've been open for about 25 minutes or so. The first 100 people to walk through the door, giving away some free lunch, raffling off a free Scotty Cameron putter and a month's membership. Got some T-shirts, some swag, some water bottles, golf balls, things like that. And check out the simulators that are here, the TrackMan simulators, the future of golf, what the pros use. It is here at Golf Track, 161st and Metcalf. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue talking with Matt Derrick, what he saw maybe from the backup. Certainly that will lead into what this conversation will be like in the offseason, and what the potential opponents will be for the Chiefs, or who he would like to see from the Chiefs. And, of course, like, nobody's talked about this week, and I don't know why, but we'll ask Matt Derrick what he thinks about Joe Thuney or DJ Humphries at left tackle. I don't understand why nobody's discussed this at all. It seems like a big deal for people just to ignore. More Zone next. their Overland Park location today using that TrackMan simulator technology. That is a beautiful swing right in front of us, Sterling, and I'll tell you what, she will be closer to the pin than you.
Guaranteed.
On any hole that you guys go out and play.
Guaranteed. By the way, there's free barbecue here. Free barbecue for the first 100 people, and it is delectable.
That is right.
It's delicious.
Also raffling off a free Scotty Cameron putter and a month's membership, giving away T-shirts, water bottles, golf balls as well. And you can come and get lessons from this little lady here in how to play golf. What's your name? What is it? Peyton? Peyton is she's pretty good. Peyton's pretty good. She get it from her mom? Oh, okay. Well, I didn't. That was the perfect time for you to say yes, by the way. Yeah. No, she can swing it. That's for sure. How old is Peyton? 11 years old. Beautiful golf swing. 11 years old. She's going to be a player. That's for sure. You can see it already. 913-912-4810 Golf Track, where we are located. It's the grand opening today. And again, they've got that free Scotty Cameron putter and a month's membership that they are raffling off. We're hanging out with Matt Derrick, 41 is the Mike podcast, and, of course, ChiefsDigest.com. Matt, any assessment from the players in Denver? Obviously, you would have loved it to be a little bit better than what it was. You didn't want to lose 38-0. Travis Kelce said on the New Heights podcast that they weren't exactly going out and partying in Denver because everybody was pretty low about that performance. And the guys who didn't play felt bad for the reserves that wanted to go out there and play well and put some good things on tape and things like that. It just did not work out. But the players that we saw that may need to be part of this team in the next few weeks or next year, any particular takeaways from those guys out there against a motivated, game-planned, and playoff-ready Denver Broncos team?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly did not think that the offensive line played that badly.
Okay.
And
did you think that at first, or is that on like second watch, or?
I thought that I actually thought the offensive line was better on second watch than on first watch.
I thought the same thing.
Because first time around, I thought C.J. Hansen had a pretty rough day. And on second watch, I was like, no, he really just had maybe a couple of snaps that he'd liked back.
He did have some pretty bad snaps, though. He was in there. But
DJ Humphries had 2 bad snaps. I mean, and for a guy who, once again, had played 3/4 of a football game in a year, I can live with that.
Yeah.
And if that's an improvement, I mean, and let's be real. I mean, bless their hearts and all. I mean, 2 bad snaps is better than what you had been getting, a lot better than you had been getting. And Carson Wentz was not getting rid of the football as quickly as Patrick Mahomes has the last couple of weeks with Joe Thuney. So you're really, I mean, by saying, hey, DJ Humphries' numbers weren't as good as Joe Thuney's numbers, well, it's because he had a quarterback who's holding on to the ball a little bit longer. I mean, and that frankly, that doesn't answer the 2 bad snaps that he had, because those sacks were not too. I mean, those were not Carson Wentz holding the ball too quickly. And one of them was that he and C.J. Hansen both had a bad snap on the same play, so that kind of killed that. But I thought Hunter Norzad played really well. I mean, I didn't see any bad snaps from him for the most part. Now, he was maybe fortunate in that the Broncos were just attacking the edges.
I know. I noticed that too.
And that's the other reason why I felt like that I was higher on DJ Humphries and higher on Wanya Morris and even the guards than I was first time around, because they were getting attacked.
Yeah.
And not in the same way that teams had been attacking Joe Thuney and Jawan Taylor the last few weeks. I mean, there were snaps on which the Broncos didn't have anybody lined up on the interior. And they had like 2 guys lined up on the tackle. I mean, it was ridiculous. So,
I noted that too. Like, I'm watching, I'm like, man, Hunter Norzad, like, he looks pretty good, but also with the caveat that only a few times in the game did he have somebody either on his right or left shoulder, but he held his own even on that. When he was going one-on-one, he was doing just fine. And he was picking up the stunts in the games that they were playing.
There was nothing that just
line.
surprised him up the middle.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
And he seemed to be setting the line really well, making the calls.
He got out on the run. He got out on a run. He was the screen pass that was pretty blown up as it was to Carson Steele. The reason Carson Steele was able to at least gain a couple of yards is because Norzad got out there and around and then got an arm on the left shoulder of the linebacker to get Steele. If Norzad doesn't get there, then Steele's tackled for like a 4-yard loss. Yeah. So I thought, you know what, that was a pretty good play too for a guy who didn't look like that in the preseason.
Yeah.
Like preseason, that was a different man playing on Sunday than what was going on in the preseason. That's for sure.
No, I was really. I mean, if you had to go right now, know you're going to go into the next season with Hunter Norzad as one of your guards, I'm fine with that.
I am too.
I'd be completely fine.
From
with
what
that.
I saw in that game and from what I saw the improvement from preseason training camp to now, thinking, okay, the guy clearly is understanding how to play. Techniques are better, and he looks better out there on the field. And they weren't going up against another team that was mailing it in because they had nothing to play for either. Visiting with Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. So if we look at the, I don't know, is median better than the mean to look at DJ Humphries, because those pretty bad snaps might mess up the average of what he looked like in the game. So if we were, I don't know, to eliminate maybe the best and worst snaps from DJ Humphries and look more at what the middle that he was and maybe, I don't know, mode the number that comes up the most. Like, I don't know if that's but is it enough to where you would feel comfortable him playing left tackle with Tooney playing left guard, or are you more comfortable with DJ Humphries and him, being a break in case of emergency, and you move forward with Joe Tooney and Frank Caliendo or Mike Caliendo, either of the Caliendos?
I'm going to kind of start to go down a road that I'm loath to go down, and I'm not really going down that road from actually thinking what they generally do is good. But let's say that we're just putting these players on the same scale of a pro football focus grade. Okay. I'm not going to use their grades because I think their grades are generally just throw them out. I mean,
well, do they help my argument or not?
Well,
you use PFF when it helps. You say it's bogus or a jumping off point when it's bad.
Sterling
yes.
is
Here's
great.
the
right
grade
there.
for this guy. I
So-
just disagree with that grade.
So Joe Tooney, let's say I'll tell you. I mean, he's a 90 left guard.
I would agree.
Let's
Or
just
more.
all. I
Yeah.
mean,
I'll say 100.
Feel free.
Well,
I mean,
the
if you're
Jets
gonna
want to know
say-
what his Madden rating is if they want to sign Joe Tooney as a free agent. So.
What is Mike Caliendo? Mike Caliendo might be a 65.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good.
So it's 155 that you're
that's
adding up
average.
right there.
Yeah, I mean that's a run of the that's. I mean I think that's maybe even a little better than an average replacement player.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. DJ Humphries, what is he at left tackle?
I mean, can he be a 70?
I mean,
No, not from what we've seen so far.
I know. I'm saying, can he?
Oh, can he? But
he might be let's
60
say he's,
right now, I think.
Let's say he's a 60. I mean, I think he's probably a little bit better than that, but let's just give him a 60.
are we saying in this scenario almost 65 is the average, or do we have a baseline here?
I mean, I'm not even sure what PFF would say is average. I mean, I would think that on their scale, 50 would be average, but obviously that's not the case.
I think for this exercise, though, let's go with 60 for DJ Humphries right now.
Yeah, let's say that. And, but what's Joe Tooney? I mean, I'd probably say 70.
I think 70's fair.
So you could have a 70 and a 65 on that left side, or you could have 60 and 90.
Yeah, so it's 150 to 135.
What do you prefer? What do you think is better?
What I find interesting, Matt, is because that's the way I viewed it before they moved Joe Tooney to left tackle. Because I said, I don't want to see Joe Tooney play left tackle for the exact reasons you're bringing up right now. But after we have seen Joe Tooney play left tackle, and we've seen DJ Humphries play left tackle, I'm sitting here going, while I do agree it is less in the numerical sense, I still think the impact of that left tackle of that 70 versus a 60, whatever you're going to call it, is vastly superior than the 90 versus the 65, just based on the three best offensive games I feel like we have seen Patrick have is when Joe Tooney's been at left tackle, right? I get it.
Especially the last two. When
The
he's
last two.
played well at left tackle.
The last two. So good caveat. The last two.
Good. Yeah.
Does that show you that Patrick trusts Joe at left tackle? Because, again, I was so against moving him to left tackle, and now I'm so against moving him back to left guard because I just don't trust DJ Humphries right now.
And here's the crazy thing about the whole exercise, which is that Patrick has looked more comfortable with Joe Tooney at left tackle. Patrick is also getting rid of the football faster with Joe Tooney at left tackle than he has at any point since 2021.
Right. And Steelers were the fastest of his career, right?
The two games, those last two games were the fastest time to throw that he's gotten rid of the football since week 4 of 2021, and those back-to-back games.
Yeah.
I mean, so
That was
part of. I mean, what it boils down to. I mean, we can all feel, have our own feelings about which is best and everything like that. I think the ultimate deciding factor, if I'm Andy Reid and I'm Andy Heck, I'm going with whatever Patrick Mahomes feels most comfortable with.
That's
if
the deciding factor.
If he feels more comfortable with Joe Tooney, and it means that he's going to, because I feel like that one of the reasons why he was getting rid of the ball quicker with Joe Tooney is that he is not paying attention to anything that's going on behind him, and he's keeping both eyes downfield, which means that he's making quicker decisions. And he's not holding on to the football as much because he's only got one eye downfield and he's got one eye on all the chaos around him. If Joe Tooney is what it takes to make sure that Patrick Mahomes ignores all the pressure around him and ignores the offensive line play and just focuses on downfield and gets rid of the football, then go with Joe Tooney. If he's going to be having one eye on behind his back, looking at what's happening, and one eye on his receivers, it's not going to work. So, I mean, to me, that's the only deciding factors. It's you go with whoever Patrick Mahomes wants.
And as we take a break, I do wonder, too, this would be somebody above my pay grade or those that are at One Arrowhead Drive, is, how much they game planned for DJ Humphries and to protect him, or game planning around DJ Humphries versus game planning with with Joe Tooney at left tackle against the Pittsburgh Steelers and against the Houston Texans. What that was, because I also believe, my theory, is that the way they played offensively against the Houston Texans and Pittsburgh Steelers was closer to playoff mode, Chiefs offense, and Patrick Mahomes playoff mode than what we've seen this year. And if DJ Humphries is your left tackle, and we're seeing that with the game plan and getting rid of the football quicker, and that being the Patrick Mahomes playoff type Patrick Mahomes, then I'd be that much more okay with DJ Humphries at left tackle and Joe Tooney at left guard. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We're hanging out at Golf Track 161st and Metcalf, our location. Grand opening today for this location here in Overland Park. They've got the location in Lenexa at 119th and I-35. We are giving away free lunch to the first 100 people that show up, raffling off a free Scotty Cameron putter and a month's membership and some swag, T-shirts, water bottles, golf balls, giving away those. And you can check out the TrackMan simulators that are here at Golf Track, golftrk.com. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone with Matt Derrick next.
best
Derek.
part of that was he didn't even have a glove on. Imagine
Ooh.
swinging 130 club speed, no glove. The boldness of that was astronomical. And I'm behind Matt, so I was going to be okay. But I was worried for Matt.
Yeah. So we got some.
I did come 273 blocks to be here.
See, we got some breaking news in college and the NFL. In college, Carson Beck has transferred to Miami. The Georgia quarterback will not be entering the NFL draft. Will be transferring to Miami. And Deshaun Watson has ruptured his Achilles tendon while going through rehab. According to Jason at Over the Cap, says if the Achilles injury occurred under normal rehab directed by the team, his contract would still be protected. If the injury was a result of doing something he was not supposed to be doing, his guarantees would be at risk either now or by the summer. It's Deshaun Watson. Let's be honest. He's probably doing something he's not supposed to be doing away from team facilities.
Doesn't seem like him. I mean,
The Houston Texans had massage therapists on staff, and he didn't want to do that. So, sorry, I guess I don't give him benefit of the doubt that he's doing whatever the team's telling him to do when it comes to his personal rehab or things that he's doing on his own. Call me crazy. That would be maybe the best thing for the Browns, is if he wasn't there at the facility or going through their particular regiment and re-ruptured it, because that guaranteed money might be gone.
Be a shame
For Deshaun Watson. I feel bad for him.
I mean, and this
Darn
is
it.
and this is just setting aside all the nonsense and everything like this to a degree. Actually, it's not setting aside all the nonsense.
I think he needs about 24, 25 more Achilles ruptures.
I don't know who to root for and who to root against in this scenario, because I don't want the Browns
That's a
to
good
get off
point.
the hook for giving out the most ridiculous, idiotic contract in the history of the National Football
Great
League.
point.
And I don't want Deshaun Watson to be rewarded for being Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. So if it's guaranteed money still, the Browns have to pay. But Deshaun Watson still gets rewarded in all his guaranteed money. If it's the guarantees go away because he was rehabbing away from the facility, then Deshaun Watson, has a lot less money. But the Browns then get a break in their awful decision that they made in saying, we don't care about anything going on. We just want this quarterback in Deshaun Watson. So he has re-ruptured his Achilles tendon. Matt, who do you think the Chiefs will be playing next Saturday or Sunday?
I am betting that the most likely scenario is the Los Angeles Chargers.
Los Angeles Chargers, which that game is played in Houston. The Rams game has been moved to Arizona, which was the only logical decision to be made there in L.A. is to move that game out of Los Angeles. They have moved that thing to Arizona. So the Rams and Vikings will be playing at the Cardinal Stadium. Not that the Rams have a great home field advantage at SoFi, but I'm not sure what the crowd will look like anyway there in Arizona. So you think it's going to be the Chargers. Do you give the Bills or the Steelers much of a chance of pulling off an upset on the road with the 2 and the 3 seed?
I mean, the Broncos have a chance.
I mean Broncos. Did I say
Yeah,
Bills?
the
Sorry.
Bills. Yeah, I think the Bills have a good chance.
Can the Bills pull off the upset?
I wasn't going to throw you under the bus.
Can the Bills pull off the upset?
You threw yourself under the bus.
Well, there's plenty of people in Buffalo tweeting out that the Buffalo Bills, the number 2 seed in the AFC, has 0 players on their All-Pro. First team.
There you go.
Because Josh was second team, right?
Josh was second team, yeah. But anyway, go ahead. Do the Broncos or Steelers have a chance of pulling off the upset? And that would be either or, depending on who the Chiefs would play, besides the Chargers or Texans?
I mean, the Broncos, have the better chance. I mean, I still think it's pretty low. I mean, I think it's more like a 20-25% chance. But they've got the defense to pull it off. And they can give the Bills a fight that could cost the Bills down the road.
Yeah.
They can be physical with them. Problem is that Bo Nix isn't going to be playing Buffalo's JV team. So he's going to make mistakes. They're going to force him to make a couple of mistakes, and that's going to be the difference in the game. Steelers have no chance. That team has imploded. There's something just wrong with that team. And if Mike Tomlin can't fix it in season, then you're going to have to fix it in the offseason. And I don't know if that means you get rid of Mike Tomlin, which I think would be the stupidest thing in the world. I think you probably get rid of some other guys. But you got to fix it. But no, they have no chance. But Chargers, I think they're going to pull it off.
All right, we'll see. And we'll see if anything comes of the Nagy or Borgonzi or Steve Spagnuolo interviews, because after tomorrow, that's done with these coaches for the Chiefs until the season is over. So, February 10th, they can start interviewing.
Busy guys this week.
That's exactly right. Matt, busy man as always. Appreciate you, brother.
Take care, guys.
Kendall Gammon coming up next.
He has a different view of the world. Maybe because he spent 15 years looking at it upside down. He knows exactly how many times the ball will rotate on a long snap, and he'll juggle anything you throw at him. It's Kendall Gammon in the Zone. Brought to you by Crown Toyota and Crown Volkswagen. Recognized as the #1 place to buy a new or pre-owned vehicle. Visit crownautomotive.com to see the latest deals. Experience the Crown difference.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We are hanging out a pretty cool spot. A couple hours to go here with our location. We are at Golf Track, 161st and Metcalf, just west of Metcalf on 161st Street. And we are at Golf Track. It is the grand opening of this location. They have a location in Lenexa, and now they have this location here in South OP. And Golf Track, golftrk.com, where you can go and check out all the things that Golf Track has for you, the TrackMan simulator technology, the same technology that the pros use, gives you that instant feedback on how you can improve your swing. You can play thousands of different courses here on their simulator as well. And a perfect spot to come to when you've got the cold and the snow and the ice and you want to get out there and play a little golf. Maybe you had the I was talking about it that, watching the TGL on Tuesday, you're like, man, we need to go out and play some golf. Well, you know what? You can't. Not right now unless you come to a spot like Golf Track, golftrk.com. First 100 people here giving away free lunch.
Really good barbecue.
Burnt Skull Barbecue. Burnt Skull Barbecue.
What are you saying? SKULL?
Yep, skull.
Skull. Yeah.
Burnt Skull.
Yeah.
Burnt Skull Barbecue.
That was
this
incredible.
Yeah, this is they finished. They competed at the American Royal.
Yeah,
400 competitors. They finished 6th. This today, Sterling, is their first foray into going and catering.
Oh, dog! That was
first time
insane. They had chopped brisket, pulled pork. Honestly, their potato salad or pasta salad was incredible.
The beans
their
were
baked
awesome.
beans were nails. I mean, that was
no, they were beans. I don't know what you were having. They were awesome. Had some bacon.
You know what?
In there.
If you make another joke, I'll take the headset off and go hit golf balls. I'll do it.
Shocker. It had some bacon in there. Had some pork. Had some peppers in there for a spice too. It was really good. So Burnt Skull is here giving you some free food, free lunch to the first 100 people, and you can taste what the top 10, number 6 out of all the look. American Royal brings the best. All right, you get the best of the best that are competing at the American Royal. So this is their first ever catering foray into catering. But we're here at Golf Track, Golf TRK, and you can hear in the background those playing golf and checking out the TrackMan simulators and things like that. And as we bring on Kendall Gammon, that means Sterling will go and play golf now. So
see you, Kendall. Appreciate it. Good talking to you. Hope all is well.
And there he goes. There goes Sterling onto Pebble Beach. He transported right there to Pebble Beach. It's crazy. It looks so beautiful there right now. And outside, it looks beautiful with the snow, the roads, maybe not. I'm not sure. Kendall, welcome into the show, brother. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. I'm doing really well. We're here at a great spot, a great location, had some good food, some good lunch, things like that. And it is a stress-free weekend, Kendall, in the playoffs that your team is competing in, and it's stress-free. Not too bad, Kendall.
No, it's pretty awesome, and it's amazing this time for Chiefs Kingdom and everything. I know you say it all the time, and everybody else does, I hope, which is don't take this for granted because this doesn't happen very often.
These are the good old days.
Yes, they are. You and I are officially old, and we're talking like this, but it is what it is.
But it is, though, like these are the times that we're going to be talking to our grandkids about. These are the times, like my son's 9. These are the times he's going to be explaining to his kids, like, oh, no, you don't understand, man. When I was born, I was so spoiled. I had Patrick Mahomes and, winning all these Super Bowls. And every year we were in the playoffs and, whatever may be going on at that time. Because I'm explaining to him, Kendall, that, I went to that playoff game in '93 where the Chiefs beat the Steelers in overtime when Keith Cash had to block punt, and then Joe Montana hits Tim Barnett in the back of the end zone, and then Lowry kicks the field goal. Then they go to Houston the next week, and they knock off Buddy Ryan and the Houston Oilers and that vaunted defense and the run and shoot, and they win that game. And then, of course, Montana with the concussion there in Buffalo and the dropped interception that could have been a pick 6. But that run, I was at that game in '93, and then I came back in town, living in Louisville. I came back in town for the Chiefs and Colts playoff game in 2018, and they won that game. And I said to my son, I was 13 years old when the Chiefs won a playoff game at home. I was 38 the next time they won a playoff game at home. I said, dude, they win a playoff game at home every week with you, dude. It's unbelievable. And he couldn't believe, he's like, 13 to 38 years old? I said, yeah, think about that. Every year watching the Chiefs, hoping this is the year. And it took 25 of those years before they won a home playoff game. And I'm like, you know what? I said, son, you're going to be telling all of your kids and grandkids about when you grew up and you got to watch Patrick Mahomes. Like my dad was telling me about Lenny the Cool and Len Dawson and watching those guys. That I'm like, I watched Joe Montana and I watched Steve Bono and Gerbach was there too, and, now Kendall, it's I got to watch number 15 in his prime. I got to watch number 15 every single game, and what a treat that was.
Well, first and foremost, I played in that '93 game because I was on the Steelers, so sorry
about that.
I'm having flashbacks right now. Exactly right, but I feel like I at least contributed to Chiefs Kingdom early on. But you're right. I mean, this is amazing, and we need Patrick Mahomes first of all to play about 20, 22 years, just to be selfish with it. But it is amazing. But it's not just Mahomes. I mean, the other players, and I say this all the time. I'm curious your thoughts, but I think not just as much, but very, very big part of it is Andy Reid and what he's allowed to do and how he does it, how he communicates. And then that trickles up first. It comes down from the Humps in this organization, this family-run organization, how they do things the right way. And it is amazing, this franchise and how they're handling everything. And, man, I mean, obviously, I heard you and Matt talking about the last game, and not much to talk about there, Denver, because it just didn't matter, and you really couldn't discern much from it. But, man, having the ability to be rested and watch the games this week and get away from it both physically and emotionally, mentally, is just – you can't say enough about how big a deal that is. And it's not that they have an easy path to it, but, man, they sure have a path to the Super Bowl that doesn't look unbelievably difficult in my estimation since everybody comes through Arrowhead.
Yeah, and last year they had to go on and take the most, according to DVOA, the most difficult road to the Super Bowl any team has ever had to face, and all they did was go 4-0. Now they get the week off. They get either Buffalo or Baltimore. They don't have to face them both. That is, if they take care of business next weekend against whoever they may play. So, what do you when it's an off week like this? You've worked around the Kansas City Chiefs and the radio network and things like that. What goes on that? We've seen this team before do it, and they've had the bye week a couple of times, and so they've been able to, go through these the schedule that they are probably used to. But is it easy to sort of keep that intensity by taking some time off and keep that intensity? And how much, Kendall, this Chiefs team that's experienced it, been through it, done that, knows what to expect, has an advantage over a team, let's say even like Detroit, that has a bye week for the first time?
I think it's huge. I mean, what you bring up is very pertinent in the fact that a lot of the guys have been through it before, and now during this off week, you're going to get a few practices in, and it's obviously going to be a walkthrough or a quick jog through. You may get a little bit of intensity going, but you're not going to be in pads. But you're also, the guys that are hurt, like Mahomes and others that we don't know about, they are able to get healthy. But you can get in and you can get some good lifts in and just feel good about everything. And it's just, I don't know, I've experienced it a little bit way back with the Steelers is when you have a little bit of time off. And, of course, Cowher didn't do as much time off as Andy Reid does. And that goes to him being coached, I think, by Schottenheimer and how he dealt with things. Yeah. But you just have a chance to refresh and really reset. And that, again, not telling you anything you don't know, which is, their bye was in week 6 or whatever. So to be able to really catch your breath a little bit and get healthy, just can't say how big of advantage that is. And then I think it's so awesome also if you go harken back to when the playoffs were extended in terms of number of games and number of teams in, and the fact that you just have one bye instead of 2. I think that's so huge because it makes for so much more competition at the end of the season.
Yeah. And it is interesting. You mentioned the Chiefs with the bye week of week 6. I just thought about it. The two teams with the bye week in the playoffs. Chiefs had bye week 6. Lions were week 5. Like those two teams had to, they had to work towards all the way to the end of the season. Chiefs not so much. Lions definitely to the last game of the season while they were off in week 5, and they played 12 games in a row to finally get another bye week. So both teams got an early bye and then had to make sure that they were in a position to get a bye as well. Because like the Ravens got a bye week in week 14. They were just off, right before they started the 3 games in 11 days. A little different than if you don't get a bye week and you've been playing since week 7. You had week 6 off. So this was huge for the Chiefs. I thought it was also interesting, Andy Reid talking about that, Kendall, after the Broncos game, he said, just game time off, get away, go do whatever you need to do. And then they got back in here this last couple days. He said today they were in pads, and they were going 1 versus 1s, the 1s versus the 1s in pads today. Yeah, and he said, look, you got to keep the edge, right, that competition. He said this team is already competitive as it is. He goes, but when you got 1 versus 1, when you got good on good, he goes, that competition just increases even more. So he put them in pads, and they went practice in pads today with the one team versus the other one team, first team versus first team on offense and defense. I thought that was interesting to hear about, and Andy Reid talking about how competitive the practice was today.
That's interesting because I forgot. They only have 14 padded practices during the season, and I was going with that if they don't have any left. But then they obviously get a few reset for the playoffs, so that's why he's doing that. And I think that makes a lot of sense. I thought that they might be very intense without pads on, but that makes perfect sense. And that way you're getting a little bit of something that's obviously not game situation, but you're right. It doesn't matter what's going on. When you go 1s versus 1s, which doesn't happen very often with teams, that does change things quite a bit.
How much does it happen during after training camp? How often do you? Yeah, I was going to say, even in practice with it, you may have pads through the regular season. How much are you getting? Maybe a live, a segment of practice in pads when you've got the first team versus the first team.
Very rarely. I don't remember ever going 1s-on-1s during the regular season of my 15-year career. So, that's how much I think of it. So it's hard to think that they would have done that also. And you understand why, but this makes a lot of sense also with that. You're trying to keep them sharp a little bit and understanding that, you want to rest, but this is an inordinate amount of rest, no doubt. So, and then we talked about this last week, I think, the Chiefs win, they're geniuses for getting, all the time off. If they were to lose, it's like all of a sudden they made the biggest mistake. That's what fans are, fanatics. We get to second guess and hindsight.
Yeah, and believe me, there are going to be plenty of people that are going to pounce on the Chiefs if they lose in the divisional round about they rested their players for 24 days and you just can't do that. But if there's a team that can do that, it's this team that can do that. Because I think how much Kendall Gammon's our guest. So much of last year's Travis Kelce conversation was about he got the rest that last week, and he didn't go for the 1,000-yard season. He needed 3 receiving yards or whatever it was, but he rested and talked about how much more fresh his body felt. And Matt Nagy talked about that, and we saw that those 4 games in the playoffs, Travis Kelce was vintage Travis Kelce. The 4 games combined, he would pace out over a full season of 140 receptions, 1,400 yards, and 13 touchdowns. That's what he was doing in those 4 games in the playoffs. But let me ask you this, Kendall. So much of that is just simply presented and pointed to for Travis Kelce getting the rest. How much is it that, yes, Travis Kelce rested his body, but this team is in a different mode. This team they take care of business in the regular season so they can get here. This is now when it's time to go. This is now go time. So I do wonder how much Travis Kelce, while the last 3 games he played last year left a lot to be desired of 2 catches, 3 catches, pretty minimal non-Kelce numbers, and then he gets in the playoffs and it's completely different. I wonder how much was rest, Kendall, and how much it is you turn it on, it's playoff time. This is when these guys know what to expect, how to go out there and play. It's legacy. They've worked all offseason and all regular season for finally this moment.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. And I think we actually saw Mahomes go into that with the 3 games in 11 days in terms of how he held himself and how he was talking. He understood how important it was not only to get the bye, but to have some rest for him, number one, himself, but then others as well. And so I think he did go into that. And you're right. There's so many players on the team with so much playoff experience, and they understand. And the old adage of you just can't turn it on. Well, that is true to a degree, but when you've been through it so many times, there is a portion of you understand that it's going to be more intense, and you know what to expect. And so it may be you just understanding, you being the Chiefs, understanding the level of play that's needed at a better level and understanding it better than a lot of other teams do.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens in a couple of weeks, or I should say, what is 8 days or 9 days? I think it's going to be Saturday. Yeah. We'll see when they actually play. Kendall Gammon is our guest. Kendall, the Chiefs go out there against the Broncos, and it was not a great performance, obviously. I think there are a lot of factors that go into that. The Chiefs were playing incredibly vanilla. Obviously, their backups. They had 17 players that are the most significant players on this team that did not play. They're playing a playoff team, playing a playoff game that is game planning for that game because it's a win and you're in. And the Chiefs offered almost nothing of consequence and a vanilla game plan. As a former player yourself, and somebody who, didn't have the opportunities at the offensive line as much. And so when those opportunities came, how you played, what do you say to those out there that have never been in the arena that say the Chiefs lost on purpose and nobody out there was even trying, and they were doing it on purpose? Not that it was a vanilla game plan, not that the Broncos are so good and playing a playoff game. It's that those players on the field weren't even trying to win the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, that's comical because it's just not the case. The fact is they're in a position that's very difficult for them to succeed because even if you were game planning quite a bit, which I would say they didn't for the most part, you've been running the scout team stuff throughout the year, and very rarely, not very many people other than the first team starters get reps throughout the year with the game plan because they're gonna play, and that naturally makes sense. So the other guys are getting their reps and working on their game when they're running the scout team. And there you're just looking at cards with lines of where you go, and you're in different positions. I mean, I did that my whole career. Besides being a long snapper, I ran scout team at offensive line and then tight end my last years. And then it was like the last year or two, I didn't do as much, but I would get in there if need be. And you work on your game, but as far as working on the game and a cohesive unit, especially the offensive line, it's impossible. So you don't have the timing put together. I mean, even the QBs that are running the scout team, I mean, they do enough research that they know the type of counts they run and what type of cadence they want, and it may not be exactly what the Chiefs do. So you're doing stuff that is just so counterintuitive to what the Chiefs themselves do as a franchise and as a team. So it is very difficult. So to say that they're not trying, no, that's not the case. Yeah. And the big thing is all these guys are playing for their jobs. Everybody's playing for their job each and every time. That's the big thing. So there's not just not much validity to that. There's absolutely zero validity to that.
That's the thing that just like I can't imagine people. I mean, I guess, but fanatics, as you talk about, and sports can do some strange things to people that typically would be logical and reasonable thinkers. But to say that the backups for the Chiefs weren't trying, like they don't. There's a bunch of guys out there that don't have a job next year yet.
You're
you know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
Like those guys are playing for their job.
You're exactly right, and it's an opportunity that they relish and they want to play well for so many different reasons. So it just doesn't compute. But I get it. I mean, when you look at it as a fan and it's your team and they just look awful and you're used to, what they're normally doing. Basically, I think you take the worst team in the league, and if they're playing their starters, they're going to beat collectively a group of second team, no matter what the team is. I mean, just because it's the Chiefs and we're two-time defending champion doesn't mean that our backups are heads and tails better than anybody else, and certainly not better than any overall first team unit in the NFL.
And also, like, if Butker had made the field goal, which I want to talk to you about in a little bit, maybe next, but if Butker had made the field goal, it's, 38-3. Okay, is that much better? Well, here's the thing. Atlanta was, a game and a half or 2 games away from making the postseason, winning their division. Tampa Bay took care of business. Atlanta ended up losing there last week of the season against the Carolina Panthers. But Nobody wants to point out that the Denver Broncos beat the Falcons 38-6. Now,
Right.
that was in like week 11. So were the Falcons not trying that day to win? But the Broncos beat a team that was almost in the playoffs 38-6.
Right.
They beat the Chiefs 38-0. It could have been 38-3. But it just those things are lost in translation when it's the Chiefs. I think there's a lot of
They
things
are.
that are lost in translation with the Chiefs.
Yeah, you're right. It's a valid point. But again, your team, being a fan, it elicits a lot of emotion, and sometimes I think a lot of times people say things and they indulge, they overstate, and it's not exactly what they're saying is not exactly what they mean.
Yeah, they tweet it and then look around and go, let's watch the interactions here. Let's see what this does to the
Exactly
people.
right.
And you don't get to see the behind the scenes of the guy just being a troll and doing some of those things. Kendall Gammon is our guest. Kendall, any concern with what we've seen from Harrison Butker since he has returned from the knee surgery?
No, I don't think so. Obviously, you want to make that kick, but in general, I think he's fine. I don't think he would be out there if he didn't think he could play. And quite honestly, I think I know he's evaluated by the coaches and, of course, Dave Tobe, and they wouldn't have him going if they didn't feel that he was up to snuff. I think it's just good that he can go after it. There's probably been a little bit of trepidation at times in terms of planting and really going after it. So I think it's good that he's had a chance to do this and go after it and maybe get one out of the way, a miss, and figure things out. This guy, he watches film and he evaluates things as much as anybody. And obviously from Georgia Tech, he's a bright individual. So he's going after it, and I don't think that's an issue. But I think it makes sense that we would all talk about this because he's been so perfect. And he's been so money and made so much of a difference for not only this year, but so many games in the past because he is not only so accurate, but then you can go out so far and still be accurate as well.
You ever, as a team, been stuck on the tarmac for like 3 hours as a team?
An hour or so. I've never had the 3 hour thing, so that would not be a good time.
Yeah. Apparently, Travis slept through the whole thing. That he got there, put his headphones on, fell asleep, and then he woke up like 3 hours later, and they were taking off. And he's like, "Hold on, what? What's the deal here?" Because apparently
funny.
he sleeps during every single plane trip. So that's what he does: gets in there, reclines his chair, puts the headphones on, and goes to sleep. But apparently, everybody else they're playing chess. They're doing rap battles. Joshua Williams was saying they were doing rap battles and freestyling. They were playing chess, and he was standing there, I guess, just like talking crap to Justin Reed. And he was like, "I don't even know how to play chess, but I was just letting him know, just talking smack to him while they're playing."
Awesome.
I thought that was great. You know what? And it could look if I'm stuck on the tarmac for 3 hours in a plane, that sounds like a terrible, terrible ordeal. For those guys stuck on the tarmac for 3 hours, they're lounging in the chairs, sleeping. They're playing chess. They're hanging out, and maybe some team camaraderie there with everybody.
It really is.
So I thought that was pretty funny of him. He's like, "I don't even know how to play chess, but I was definitely letting Justin Reed know anytime he was losing." And he doesn't lose very often, Justin Reed. He wins those chess championships of the players every year. He and Drew Trainer.
Interesting. I know when I was with the Steelers, on a lot of the trips, just normal trips, we would play cribbage a lot.
What's cribbage?
I guess I have to look it up. It's a card game. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if I remember
it's a
how
card
to play
game?
it now, but with a board and pegs, and you're going around.
Okay.
I
see
don't
it
even
now.
remember how to play it, but I used to play it all. We used to play it all the time. There was probably 15, 20 guys on the team that played cribbage nonstop.
That's awesome. Kendall Gammon is our guest. All right, Kendall, getting everybody to weigh in on this since there's no prediction. We're getting people just to predict who they think the Chiefs will end up playing next week. So they can play any of four teams: Houston, L.A., Pittsburgh, Denver. Who's your guess as to who the Chiefs will end up facing off against next weekend?
Yeah, I think I agree with your last guest, which is I think I feel like it's going to be the Chargers, and I'm not wild about playing them, but I think we'll be fine. But I feel like they're going to get it done. I'm not trying to downgrade Houston, but I just see the Chargers for some reason having the edge.
Do you we talk about and I know I told you that was your last one, but it popped into my head here. As a player, we talk about bulletin board material and how much it matters and how much it plays into things. Like I think the Chiefs beating the Bengals a couple of years ago in the AFC Championship game, after the game was over, they let everybody know how much the Burrowhead stuff bothered them and how much the Bengals were talking. I believe if they would have lost that game, then the Chiefs would have simply said, oh, we didn't care about that. We're here to play a game. We're not worried about talking or anything. We're here to play a game. But it clearly bothered them because they, won the game and let everybody know. Last night, Notre Dame was letting the media know about what they thought of some of Penn State's and their coaches' comments about them and felt like they were being disrespected, and they wanted to go out there and show that they were the better team. I bring that up for a couple of things. One, if you're Houston, you've got everybody picking the Chargers, and the Houston Texans, you guys aren't any good. You guys are going to lose. You've won your division, but it doesn't matter. The Chargers are going to come in and steamroll you guys. You're home underdogs in the playoffs. You're not even favored to win this game. You won your division. And then the Bills are going to Buffalo, where they're not. They don't even need. They shouldn't even be in the playoffs. It should be the Bengals. This playoffs would be so much better if the Bengals were in the playoffs instead of the Bills. You guys didn't even win that game. Okay, the Chiefs lost it. They laid down. So I think there's some motivation or some extra stuff there. How much is that used? And when the game starts, does it matter? But if it is used, what can it do when you're getting ready for a playoff game?
Well, I think once the game starts, nothing's used at all, really. And I think generally, I can remember through my career at times where things would actually, articles and things highlighted would actually go up on the literal bulletin board, and you would see it. So it never really moved me one way or the other. But I think you're aware of it. It doesn't bother you that much or drive you too crazy. But when you win and you've got that stuff, then you just go ahead and just kind of push it back into them a little bit and use it for what it is. And so I think that's when it comes handy.
You ever have another long snapper who's like, we're going up against Kendall Gammon. That guy, he talks about 4 1/4 revolutions. I see that guy snap all the time. 4 1/4. It's not 3.5. This guy, it's we'll see out on the field as to who the better long snapper is.
Yeah, the long snappers didn't have a really big pecking order and go after each other that much. Most of the time we would just, talk before the game and said, I can't believe they're paying me to do this either. I mean, it's amazing. So we're just like, I've got them snowed here also. So that's what we would do.
That's brilliant. Just the long snapping acknowledgement nod before the game of like, I know, right? I know. Have a good game, buddy. Kendall Gammon, our guest. Kendall, you're the man as always. Enjoy the football this weekend, and looking forward to our conversation next week, breaking down the opponent the Chiefs will be playing in the divisional round. Thank you, sir, as always, man.
Sounds good. Hit them straight.
Absolutely. Kendall Gammon, our guest here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, hanging out at Golf Track. The location is 161st Street in Metcalf, just west of Metcalf on 161st. It is the grand opening for the golf track. This location opened up at 11 o'clock. They are giving away free lunch to the first 100 people. They are giving away a raffle they're raffling off a free Scotty Cameron putter and a month's membership, and some T-shirts, water bottles, golf balls will be given away as well. So thank you to Kendall Gammon. What?
No, Paul's trying to. Me and Mick are in a nice game over here. We're in a lovely game. We just parred Mick with an incredible save.
Paul.
Go ahead. Paul, there's right behind you, Paul. Me and Mick are in a heated battle.
Paul, he's supposed to be working here.
I am working. I'm working to help promote the loveliness that is Golf Track.
Paul, don't interrupt the talent over here, okay? Talent's trying to play some golf, okay? Don't interrupt him, Paul, okay? All right, we need to take a timeout. We'll come back. Lee Sterling. We'll hear Todd Lebo and Lee Sterling. Lee will get you set for the weekend's worth of playoff games. Oh, and then we got Sad Fans Bengals Part 2. Part D after Lee Sterling. And so we'll play that for you. We'll go through what we think will happen this weekend in the NFL playoffs. Mick Schaefer will join us. We got the cuts before the show is over. And we got a lot of golf to get into as well. More Zone next.
national sports handicapping champion Lee Sterling on the Zone. Log on to ParamountSports.com or call toll-free 800-400-9741 to get started.
Welcome back into the Zone on this not exactly Red Friday. No Chiefs game this week, but we got football, man. We got college football playoff tonight on Sports Radio 810, and we've got all those NFL playoff games for you. And Lee Sterling from Paramount Sports is here to talk about it. It's still a crazy time for football, isn't it, Lee?
It is. With the college football playoff, these games are happening later, and there's so many more of them, and still got a big one tonight. Huge game. I think whoever wins this game is going to win it all. And then, 6 playoff games this weekend, stretched out from Saturday afternoon all the way through Monday night. So, and who knows? We're not sure yet where that game on Monday night is going to be played, whether it's going to be played in L.A. Or in Arizona. So that could be a factor also.
Going to be fun. So you've got good stuff for us. What are the specials this week?
Yep. Well, just going to try to keep winning. We started the season off great, had a great September and October, had a down November, but came back strong in December. And if anyone wants to hop on board, what should be our 30th win in our 31 years in business, get every game this weekend all the way through the Super Bowl in mid-February. Just $197. Use coupon code SAVE300, ParamountSports.com.
All right, let's talk about some games. Tonight, It is the Cotton Bowl. Dallas gets to host this thing, or Arlington, and it's Texas, so it's not, it's kind of a home game. There'll be lots of Ohio State people there. I promise you that. They know and they go.
Oh, they travel.
And the Buckeyes are favored by almost a touchdown in this game.
Yeah, Ohio State's made some scheme changes on offense, playing their best 2 games of the season, the last 2 weeks, and how have they done it? They have done it behind their best player, who I think this guy is, if he came out right now, he would have clearly, I thought, been the first pick. And who am I talking about? Jeremiah Smith. So he is unguardable. What they've done is they've moved him into the slot a lot more than they did first 10, 11 games of the season, and it's paid dividends. So I think also, though, as good as they are, they maybe played 2 overvalued teams in Oregon and Tennessee also. Texas might be Ohio State's equal as far as size and athleticism, especially their pass defense. It's elite. That pass defense ranks second and first in passing yards allowed and yards per pass play. They only allowed 8 touchdown passes the entire season with 21 interceptions. Also, number 2 in tackles for loss and number 4 in sacks here. And what's crazy is of the 4 final teams that we had, 4 top 6 defenses. So everyone talks about the offenses. Defenses usually still win championships. Will Howard has played this Texas team 3 times, came close all 3 times within its score, but Texas has been a home dog only now twice in almost 3 years. Both times they covered. I like Texas better as an underdog than I do as a favorite here. I don't think the 4th time's going to be the charm here for Will Howard. I like Texas. Wrong team favored, 27-23.
Well, as a Sooner, I'm rooting against everybody in this game. It's just how it is.
Yep,
But that's my life now. All right, let's talk some National Football League. Saturday night, this is a fun one. AFC North, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is just stumbling into the playoffs. Baltimore's a big number, though, and they haven't been great in the postseason.
No, they haven't. But baby steps, they're not going to do it. Most teams don't do it in 1 year. They've got to learn. They're finally probably much healthier than they've been in the past. And their offense, they might just be too much for Pittsburgh. JT Watt, just so good. Watt is, but he's only probably 70-75%, playing his heart out, but he can't do it alone here. They've got a couple weak links in the secondary, so and I think Baltimore is going to exploit them. Lamar Jackson, any other season, he'd probably be the MVP. 41 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions, over 4,000 passing yards, almost 1,000 rushing yards this year with 915. He's the 5,000-yard man here. Pittsburgh's pass defense, 28th in the NFL. You don't go very far in the playoffs with those type of numbers, and their offense That offensive line is mediocre, and their wide receivers can't hold on to the ball. Ravens defense has been really good of late, giving up just 10.7 points per game here the last 4 games. And I just think Baltimore's ascending, and Pittsburgh has hit the wall. I think this is the blowout special of the weekend, Baltimore 31-13.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that one. Let's move to Sunday, middle of the day. Philly, 4.5-point favorite over Green Bay. Philly's are a really good team that not a lot of people are talking about.
Well, they were talked about a lot in the middle of the season, and then they kind of just cruised down the last couple weeks and did it the last couple weeks without their quarterback, Jalen Hurts. I expect them to be back here. Green Bay's only chance here is I just think Philadelphia's going to have to turn the ball over. A bunch of fumbles, tip balls, interceptions. They're 0-5 against the Eagles, Lions, and Vikings this year. The 3 good teams they played. In fact, they're a blocked field goal away from finishing 0-6 in the NFC North Division. So Packers' best win this year was against the Rams in Week 5 when LA's offensive line was riddled with injuries here. Jordan Love's not 100%. This time last year, he was playing his best ball. So I think Philadelphia is just too much here. Someone was making the comparison. I listened. They were talking about the Packers of 2010 remind them of the Packers of 2024. Both were wild card teams, and I just don't see it. Aaron Rodgers was in his prime. Then they had 7 Pro Bowlers. This year they have 3, and they couldn't stop Barkley in the first game, who had 3 touchdowns in that 34-29 win. I just think the Eagles just a much better team now. Eagles double up Green Bay, 34-17.
All right, Sunday night, Washington's the new team. Like, this is maybe a team that's the baby steps type team. These teams played the very first game of the year, Tampa and Washington. This one is in Tampa. 3-point favorites, that's basically home field favorite. This should be a really good one.
Yeah, 5th straight playoff appearance for Tampa Bay. A lot of people don't realize they've won 4 consecutive division titles. Loads of postseason experience here, and that's probably why, if you're going to take Tampa Bay, why you take them here. But I just think that Jaden Daniels is going to be one of these guys, just like Patrick Mahomes, that if you go against him early and often, you're going to pay. And these guys are just that good. They're that skilled, passing and running the football. They're leaders. They're accurate. He led them to game-winning drives in 4 games this year. He ranked 2nd in the league with 12 touchdown passes in the 4th quarter and overtime, and that's kind of where it determines what a quarterback is all about, not the first 3 quarters. And the Buccaneers, we know, defeated them 37-20 in that opening week, but Tampa Bay's defense was really healthy at that time. Their pass defense right now is racked up with injuries, and Daniels was making his NFL debut that game. They just did not throw the ball down the field at all that game. So Tampa Bay's pass defense ranked 29th. Another team, we talk about these weak pass defenses usually have trouble in the playoffs. I like Washington to pull the upset. Wrong team favorite, 27-24.
Yeah, Washington's going to be something, but this is their first time. We'll see if they can kind of answer the bell.
Neither team, I don't think, is going to win the following week. But
right, hey, it's the playoffs.
This could be the most entertaining game. Probably will come down to last possession. If that's going to happen, I'll take my shot on the underdog.
Yeah, both these teams have played a lot of really close games. All right, so Buffalo's a big favorite at home against Denver, and I hadn't kind of thought about this, but I looked it up. Last year, Buffalo with Russell Wilson went up there and won a game at Buffalo. Denver won at Buffalo last year. Now, Russell's gone. Bo Nix is there now. It's the playoffs. It's a whole different story. But they did a pretty nice job against Josh Allen defensively last year. Can they do that again and keep this game close?
All right, so last week's game, you can't put any credence in that game. That was, as easy as it can come. They got to face Denver. They got to face the Chiefs here with an immobile number 2 quarterback who's not really a runner anymore, and they started off with that nice, easy 14-point lead. Now they're going to have to face a very mobile quarterback, a quarterback who is sacked the least in the NFL, just 14 times for the fewest yards lost, 63. The number 2 team in that category, Green Bay, allowed 21 sacks for a minus 132 yards. So the Bills' pass protection really benefits Allen's superior running skills. He's really been above pretty much anyone else running the football here, along the way from 28 touchdowns just 6 interceptions here. He has run for 52 first downs with his legs and 12 rushing touchdowns. So the Bills are also plus 24 in turnover margin with only 8 takeaways here. And if anyone told us at season's onset that the Broncos rookie quarterback Bo Nix would throw 29 touchdown passes, I'd say they're probably nuts. He's a pretty good example of why quarterbacks should probably stay in 4 to 5 seasons to get that experience instead of, just 4 or 5 seasons. And I just think that we're going to see Buffalo play with the lead, and Bo Nix, he's great playing with the lead or when it's close, but if they're down by double digits, I think it spells big trouble for them here. I think the Bills win this game here, 33-17.
All right, Lee, what have you got for us for a game of the week and specials at Paramount Sports?
Yep, so game of the week this week, like I said, is a game that, could be moved, Minnesota and the Rams, but I think I've got the right side on this game. First, 5 callers that call get it for free, 800-400-9741. Again, the number, 1-800-400-9741. You get Minnesota and the L.A. Rams on me. And like I said, if you want to hop on board, what a season we had. I mean, we had an incredible bowl season last year in the playoffs, just an incredible run. Love to have you aboard for it. Just $197 from now through the Super Bowl. And that will not only include the Super Bowl, include my top 10 prop plays. Just use coupon code SAVE300 at ParamountSports.com. $197. Also, we've got a UFC pay-per-view. Check that out. UFC is back. Just one place, ParamountSports.com.
Sounds great. And we will talk next week and talk about the Chiefs. We're going to find that opponent out as the playoffs are underway. That's Lee Sterling from Paramount Sports. The Zone continues next on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
a month's membership. And, of course, you get here, come out, and you can check out all of the tech that they use, the TrackMan simulator technology, same tech that the pros use, and a place that you can practice in the cold and snowy months. Then check out Golf Track. They've got all these great golf courses, thousands of golf courses that you can play, and they've got real-time instant analysis with club speed, spin rate, ball speed, carry, all of that stuff that you can check out in the TrackMan, so you can adjust one way or another, help fix your swing, or just perfect your swing, whatever it might be, or learn how to swing. Who knows? But Sterling and Mick have been playing a nice little round. Where are you guys at? St. Andrews?
St. Andrews, not
St.
the one in
Andrews.
town.
Oh, no, another one in OP. That'd be pretty
No.
impressive, though, if they had the OP location.
That would
on
be
here.
nice. Yeah. I would rather play that than the other St. Andrews. Eat me alive.
There's like 3 mile an hour wind. That's not even St. Andrews. It's not even the real St. Andrews. 3 mile an hour wind. Come on, that thing ain't she ain't a beast yet. Come on, she's just teasing you right now. she hasn't brought her teeth out.
Yeah,
Okay.
The wind is the least of my worries so far.
What, the swing?
Swing. That's
Yeah,
the
that's-
overall
What's
ability.
What's your handicap, Mick?
Golf in general.
My golf game.
My toe.
Sad fans next. Hopefully the weather's going to be better this weekend, and hopefully hopefully the weather is really nice next weekend for the Chiefs playing a home game against that Steelers-Chiefs game is going to be crazy. It's going to be nutty. Probably not.
That Broncos-Chiefs game you're talking
That
about?
Broncos-Chiefs game is going to be so good. Payback time. So we'll see what happens. But hopefully the weather is nice next week. We are here at Golf Track. We're inside playing golf. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Sorry, I say we, like as if I'm a part of the group. Sorry. Mick Schaefer and Sterling Holmes.
Have you swung any clubs yet?
I have. I hit 2 home runs.
Did you?
So,
He actually did.
Did you take a step and everything?
Well, he dropped
Alex,
the club.
did you get the video of me hitting the home run earlier? You posted the video of me hitting the home run? Okay, great. You can show Mick. He wanted to see my home run swing.
He dropped the club and everything.
Yeah,
Ran
and
around.
then I watched it, and then I ran the bases. I crushed. I got it all. I got all of it, dude, and I knew right away that thing was gone, man. Launched.
I'm hitting a ton of home runs to the right field pole and the left field pole.
Oh, really?
Yes, stop pole. None to dead center.
Mine was roughly.
None to dead center.
Mine was left center, but I got it all.
Mick, are we sure they're not more like bloops?
What's
or-
that? There's some of those. There's some bloops and there's
I
an
think
inside the Parkers.
Rex Hudler called it, I believe, a booty knock.
A booty knock.
A
yes.
booty knock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some screamers from Mick. It's all good. But you guys are playing a nice little round at St. Andrews. We are at Golf Track, golftrk.com if you want to go and check it out online. We're here at the grand opening South Overland Park location, the original location in Lenexa, but this brand new location using the TrackMan simulator technology, same technology the pros use. You can see the club speed, the spin rate, the ball speed, all of that, the carry. It gives you all of that information, the club path, the curve that comes along with it, so you can adjust your swing one way or another, see how your ball flight is, and adjust it from there. So it's a lot of ways that the professional golfers use to perfect and hone in on their swing. And we're here hanging out at Golf Track. They're giving away free lunch to the first 100 people to show up here, and it is Burnt Skull Barbecue, and really, really good stuff. They finished 6th at the American Royal.
That's what I heard.
400 competitors. They finished 6th.
There is zero chance 5 people placed higher because that was literally incredible.
Well, it was 100% chance they placed higher. But you could say 0% chance they were better.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Right.
Thank you, Mick. Thank you for catching
I'm
this.
here for the technical.
And this
part of the
today,
show.
this for the food we're eating is their first foray into catering. So first time they put it all together to cater for other people instead of just competition. So they nailed it. I'll just say that. It was awesome stuff from Burnt Skull that's here. The beans are awesome. They throw they got some peppers in the beans, so there's a kick. Oh, yeah, it's fantastic. So they're giving away the free food here at Golf Track, and you can come in and check out all of the different things that they have. And, of course, that free Scotty Cameron putter that they're raffling off to get, and a month's membership to Golf Track.
I already had lunch, so I will go have some of that.
Yes, that's right. I had lunch, but I feel like I need to eat lunch.
Yeah.
I feel like that. Do I need lunch? Yeah, I think I probably need lunch. So we are out here. How are you guys playing? You guys
Golf?
good? No, how are you guys playing here at
No,
St. Andrews?
horrible.
You guys good?
Sterling's doing well.
Okay, great.
It's very realistic here. Wayward off the tee. Wayward. I'd love to blame the game, but no, this is right. They've seen me. They've scouted me, and they know what's going on. And so everything's right.
Course is
it's
scouted
dialed
you.
in. Nice job, equipment, TrackMan, all that stuff.
Mick at one point
You nailed it.
we're in St. Andrews, and at one point he was in the gorse.
I didn't even know they had grass that tall at St. Andrews. I thought it was just all just links.
If you get that far.
Yeah, I know. That's how far off. I'm in St. Adams. Yeah. It's his brother who had a track right next to his house. It's
Samuel.
He was adopted. Nobody really pays attention to him. That's where I was playing from.
What was it, Dylan?
I said Samuel Adams.
Samuel Adams.
Yeah. Samuel Adams, yeah.
Yeah, I liked the jokes that you guys
He's
told. I was just going to say, when you hit that far, you were 2 neighborhoods away, but I like it's his brother that had the golf course. That's much better than the one I was going to come up with there. So, yeah, we will go through these games this weekend. The 6 games are going to be played in the playoffs. Also tonight with the national semifinal of Texas and Ohio State. Last night, Notre Dame. The little upstart, scrappy, fan favorite Notre Dame Fighting
That's
Irish.
so funny, right?
Finding a way to get past Penn State and play for a national title. And I asked the question earlier, and I think the answer is obviously yes. Is Marcus Freeman the most attractive coach in the national championship game ever? And why is the answer yes? because he's so damn attractive. And
Pete Carroll was a silver streak back in the day.
that's a good
when
point.
He was,
That's, no doubt about that. Yeah,
but yeah, no, definitely he's up there. Maybe
Not
he's not even
Saban?
the best. What's that? I mean, Saban probably back in the day had.
What about
yeah.
Coach Ogeron?
let me tell you something.
For some women, yes. That's their type.
When I was doing in college, I was cleaned up pretty damn well.
Jim Tressel, an attractive man. I would think.
It's only because none of us have coached a college football championship yet.
Let me tell you something. Marcus Freeman could wear a pair
Jimmy
of pants.
Johnson back in the day, a pudgy face, really big smile.
Wear a pair of pants. Let me tell you that. I don't know. Wear pants that fit is all I'm saying, or don't. But yeah, so Notre Dame is playing in the national title against either Steve Sarkisian or Ryan Day. And I think it's interesting. Marcus Freeman.
Ryan Day, good looking dude.
He spray paints his beard, though, right?
He has to.
Has to. Brian Wilson, that
Somebody
thing.
yesterday said
I'm
Ryan
poorly.
Day looks like he's a Lego man beard, and I can't
exactly
not picture it.
He kind of
is-
has a Derek Carr eye thing going on, too, where it looks almost like eyeliner a little bit. Yeah.
It's 100% a Lego
Why did
face.
you bring this up to start here, Jason? Why was that your...
Because they're playing tonight, and then Notre Dame won last night. I'm just giving a recap of things we've talked about. So you got Sark and Ryan Day. And
It
the
should
fact
have been a chunkier Keegan-Michael Key going to the national championship game. Which, by the way, he went to Penn State. Keegan-Michael Key
No
did.
kidding?
And now he imitates James Franklin all the time.
Yeah, I'm good if James Franklin doesn't end up in a national championship game. But
You can see like when he was like bent over, hands on knees after Aller threw the pick. They're like,
interception.
"Oh, they're gonna blame it on me for this 20-year-old prick."
Still can't
You kidding me?
Can't win a big game. I guess it's my fault that I put the guy who's going to be a top draft
I
pick
guess
next
it's
year
my fault.
to
Yeah,
go
I
throw
guess
the
so.
football. Guess I shouldn't have let one of the best quarterbacks in the nation.
You
throw the
100%
ball.
play aggressive there, right? Like, I
Yes.
think he made the right call to try
You
and
had 40
play
seconds left.
aggressive.
Yeah. You
But-
just throw it to 44 every time.
That's right.
Yeah.
You just hand it off to 44 every time. Or if you want,
Taysom
snap
Hill.
it to 44. Or sometimes we've seen him, he can snap it. Whatever. He needs to touch the ball.
Here's what I want to have happen, though, come April. With the 32nd pick in the NFL
I hope
draft,
he slips
the
down
Kansas
there,
City
man.
Chiefs select Tyler Warren, tight
I
end,
hope he
Penn
slips
State.
down there.
Is
That'd
he
be
just
great.
a souped-up Taysom Hill, basically?
No, he's like
he's a tight end.
He's like a.
But he
he's
can
a
throw the
Gronk.
football.
He's
and
like 6'6".
And he can. That's what I said. A souped-up Taysom Hill.
Well, I mean,
He's like a Travis Kelce.
yeah,
I'd
Kelsey
say.
was recruited as a quarterback to Cincinnati. He was
Okay.
recruited as a quarterback to Penn State, so they let him throw it from time to time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because why not just put the ball in the hands of one of the best players in America, who can stiff
By
on
that, I mean,
dudes? and-
I think of Taysom Hill was kind of gimmicky. He's not. He's going to be a good NFL tight end. I
he's
think.
going to be really good. So if he's there at 32, thank you. Yes, I would not mind that. But Marcus Freeman's the only coach here of these four teams that never coached was never a head coach of a team before he got the job at Notre Dame. Like Ryan Day had never been a head coach, but he coached those final 3 games when Urban Meyer was fired or, quote, suspended, and then ultimately fired. But Ryan Day went 3-0, so Ohio State had an idea of what Ryan Day would be as a head coach.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly left for LSU, and Marcus Freeman was the DC.
He didn't start out great, right? Didn't he lose his first 3 or 4 games?
Yeah.
You know who his first loss was to? Oklahoma State in the bowl game.
Oh, interesting. How about that? Yeah.
Everybody's going to guess that.
So, yeah, and now he's playing for a national championship.
Oklahoma State is
and it was
still got a
and it was a good point by Sterling, so we marked it down and wrote it in our diary that he made that good point.
Yeah, mark that.
But it was we talked about earlier in the show. We said, we're 3 years removed from Brian Kelly saying, quote, I want to be in an environment where I have the resources to win a national championship, as to why he was going to LSU. But Sterling brought up the point and said, well, Brian Kelly was playing in the BCS and the 4-team playoff. If this was a 4-team playoff, Notre Dame wouldn't even been in it. So you would say, Marcus Freeman, don't lose to Northern Illinois, and you would get the chance to play for a national title. Instead, it's 12 teams. They get to go out there and prove that Northern Illinois was the fluke, and they're playing for a national championship now. So we'll see who they play tonight. Whoever they play tonight, or whoever wins tonight, will be like, 6.5 point favorites for a week from Monday for the 20th when the championship game takes place?
Is that what it'll be?
I think it's the Monday night of the divisional
I
round
know,
game.
but
I think it'll be like
6.5.
Yeah, I think
over
that-
Notre Dame,
I think
whoever
it'll
it
be a
is.
heavy favorite over Notre Dame. Not saying that I would.
I mean, Notre
pick
Dame
that.
didn't even look good until fourth quarter. Really, the game I thought was extremely boring until the fourth quarter.
Everybody was on the under 45.5.
Yeah.
Like it was under. And then, 13 points at halftime, and then all of a sudden the over hits. I liked the under, but then I played an alternate line of 51.5 under, and it was 27-24, so
I parlayed
got that one right.
I parlayed the over in Penn State money line, and things were looking good.
Damn it.
They were looking good.
Yeah, I had Tyler Warren 50 yards, alternate line under 51.5, and Notre Dame +5.
Are we going to hear about your dreams next?
Plus
or?
205, yes.
Hey, by the way, if
what?
your kid was lining up to kick the game-winning field goal to go to a national championship game, would you be videoing it with your phone? I can't. I mean, when my kids were playing baseball at 3 and 2 in a random, dumb middle of the summer tournament on a Friday night, I was too nervous to hold the phone. You do it, honey. I can't imagine. I'm just holding this. I'm just gonna.
You know how calm he was? Just the stones to know that he was your kid's making that kick. Just like,
does he know? Does he know that they have other cameras that are going to be capturing that? It doesn't
always
doesn't have to be his phone.
Think that
you could just DVR it, right?
Yeah,
you could just
and
record
they're better,
it off the phone.
Better quality too. They're closer, more angles.
Are you ever going to look back at that video, or are you going to go into
gonna
Twitter
show
and
some.
find
Maybe if they
someone
turned,
else's?
he turns the family. I don't think he turned to the family. Just turned
He
it
was
off
then hugging
and
everybody.
then he
yeah.
hugged.
I thought it was really cool of Jeter to let everybody be excited and heartbroken all in one kick.
Yeah.
Starts fading right, and Notre Dame fans, oh my God, he missed it. And Penn State fans, yeah. And then it all of a sudden just curves back left.
It was a Tim Wakefield kick. It was a
great.
knuckleball.
Yes, that's
Knuckle
exactly
baller.
right. All right, so the Chiefs are playing next weekend. The Bengals are not playing until next year. But that did not stop me from finding
They're
some sad
resting
fans.
their starters in
They
Week
are. That's
19.
right. Yes. Chiefs lost on purpose to the Broncos, so they didn't have to play the Bengals.
We all knew that Bama and the Bengals should have been in that game last night.
And the Bengals lost 8 games to not have to play the Chiefs.
Yes.
So there you go. But by the way, neither team is playing this weekend. Okay, so there you go. But let's go ahead and do some sad fans. It looked through about 10 to 15 different threads to find some of these. But here is sad fans, Bengals, part 2. And now things Bengals fans said on Reddit. The Chiefs make me so angry. They even invented a way to make me angry when they lose. I want all of them to their pants with fire hose diarrhea the second they start their next game.
That's good, clean fun.
That would not be good. Can't wait for next year to start 0-3 and say we're just rounding into form and it's a long season, a September tradition here in Cincy. Hey, we're rooting for a team to win a game and they look like they're still in preseason mode. Where have I seen that before? September. I'm more pissed about this game than any Bengals loss. I sold out to root for that scum and they just throw it back in my face. There's so many things I want to say or do to the Chiefs, but knowing I'll get in trouble, I'll just say that I really hope Patrick Mahomes hurts his foot on one of his kids' toys. Not seriously, but like definitely breaks the skin hurt. Reply, it's Mahomes. Of course he's going to find something to injure just to make his legacy better. It's more predictable than Zach Taylor's 0-3 start next year. Why did I let myself get my hopes up this last month? I knew they were going to let me down. Do they have a Bengals Anonymous? Because I'm now finally ready to admit I have a problem. We know the defense has to get better, but offense wins championships. Reply, this organization has been trying for 57 years. They have no idea what wins championships. Who's ready for no changes, bad drafting, and another season cringing every time Burrow gets blasted after a pitiful 0-2 start? It's the Bengals way.
Very confident.
Zach Taylor starts slow, loses close games, and can't win games in the division. What exactly does he bring to the table? Reply, his best asset is that he's cheap. I'm convinced that KC dressed up 2 troops of Girl Scouts and their locker room staff because they're afraid of Joe Burrow at his best. Reply, sorry, man, but I don't think Mahomes is caring about our team while his pocket jingles with Super Bowl rings. Just being honest.
Just being honest, man.
I don't want to see Zach Taylor's stupid-looking, always confused face ever again.
He does look. After I saw that, I'm like, he does kind of
Make fun of me all you want, but you'll never convince me the Chiefs aren't scared of the Bengals after that performance. Reply, something tells me you start a lot of your opinions that way. I've seen enough of Zach, Frank, and Lou. If all 3 are back, this is not a serious organization. Reply, you think we've been watching a serious organization? Why can't we just have nice things? Reply, because our coach will stain them or break them at the beginning of the season. The best part of this whole thing is that Chiefs fans who won't admit they got dominated by the Broncos because they're simply frauds. Reply, can you show us on the doll where Andy Reid hurt you? The Chiefs. This is all their fault. Reply, Come on, dude, that's just dumb. Get your together. Reply back. Can a man just have an emotional outburst without being judged or made to have an honest assessment of the situation? Reply, my apologies. Dive back in. I seriously can't believe the Chiefs are doing this the one time I have to root for them. That entire city can fall in a cactus bush made of non-sterile hypodermic needles.
Whoa.
They weren't happy, I think. Don't worry, those ass Chiefs will get what they got coming. Have never hated a more greasy, well-marketed bunch of in my life as the current Kansas City Chiefs. I hope they get killed in the first round. Reply from a Chiefs fan. Tough to lose in the first round with a bye, but I understand that being a foreign concept to you.
Well marketed was great, though.
Yeah. And now the runner-up to things Bengals fans said on Reddit. I just want to sleep until it's April when we can draft a project that's going to play until year 3 and then leave, either because he's a bust or a Pro Bowler that the Bengals won't pay. And now the winner of things Bengals fans said on Reddit. Joe Burrow. The window is my whole career. Narrator. He had his best season of his life and still missed the playoffs. Oh, there you go. Sad fans, Bengals, after that rough weekend for them. Great start to the weekend by beating the Pittsburgh Steelers based on Russell Wilson's inability to run a generic 2-minute drill. And then having to watch the Jets win and the Chiefs lose.
Even before that game started, you knew the Chiefs
they were losing.
Were not going to play most of their starters. You knew they were going to lose, right? Or at least an average, intelligent.
I didn't think there was really any chance.
That's tough for Cincinnati, though.
Right. I mean, but I watched last night. I watched the Hard Knocks,
yeah,
and they were had watch parties. I'm like, guys, you gotta know. Yosevich is like, what, you gotta know. When it got to 21-0, they're like, oh, I'm like, this is the first time you're letting out I mean, come on,
just keep it close. Can you just keep it close?
They ran like 6 plays in the first half.
Yeah.
The funny thing is because they showed Steve Kornacki just a couple weeks ago list off all the things that had to happen for the Bengals, and everything happened except the last thing, the Chiefs beating the Broncos.
Except for the Chiefs and Broncos. I also, by the way, somebody brought up on Reddit one of the things that I saw. It said, I feel like we all missed the big picture when we were celebrating the Bills beating the Chiefs. Because had the Bills lost to the Chiefs would be playing all their starters to win and go undefeated this week.
That's true.
Like, everybody was saying, the Bills won, thank God. Well, Bengals, if the Bills had lost, Chiefs are playing everybody last weekend to be 17-0. And maybe the Bengals are in the playoffs right now heading to Buffalo, and the Chiefs are sitting 17-0. Who knows? I hadn't thought about it like that, from Bengals. But yes, the Bills beat them.
I wonder, too, though. I mean, would that have changed the dynamic of the 16th game? I guess you're still chasing, history and going undefeated, but would they have been like, okay, it's Christmas. We've already sewn up the 1 seed and everything else. Maybe would they have set them?
Yeah, I don't know what they
I
would
would
have done,
love
right?
for them to be in that situation.
That'd be great.
Point,
I really am fascinated to know what they would have done after Christmas against Denver if they're sitting 16-0.
I think. I
think the players would have played.
The players would have played.
Knowing
Patrick
you had a
Mahomes,
week off.
Yes.
A week off, they would have played going for something historic like that.
And then still another tough decision after that for week 18 in the 17th game. What would you have done? But
no, and that's what I mean, against Denver specifically. Like if they're 16-0 against the Broncos, I think they would have too. I think the players would have said that we've got something incredibly historic going on. We're back-to-back Super Bowl champs that can go undefeated in the regular season. But I hadn't thought about it. Like they lost to the Bills, which then meant the Chiefs got to rest their starters in Week 18. So yes, the Chiefs will find out who they end up playing coming up this week in 3:30, 3:30.
We'll find out at the end of
hopefully
that,
we don't know by
game.
12:30 on Sunday. But 3 o'clock, 3:30. When do they typically announce when the Chiefs will be playing?
After Sunday
they have
Night
to
Football.
Wait. They have to wait till Sunday Night Football to see if it's Saturday or
they
Sunday.
They won't have to wait till Monday night, but they'll wait till Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
And so they'll know if it's going to be a short week or not a short week, I guess.
A short week for the Chiefs, yeah. Very short. I mean, that day would have been a huge rest differential for KC.
That's right, yeah. They play Saturday or Sunday, I guess. That's how you say it.
But that's the thing. Like, if Denver wins, they'd have to play Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no. I mean.
Because are you going to have the Chiefs play with 24 days rest and the Broncos have one less day of rest and play on that Saturday. Of course, any of the NFC teams would be playing with less rest as well.
Other stuff factors in as
that
well.
Monday night
And
game,
so-
they're going to play with less rest regardless.
Yeah.
That Monday night game, that team is going to be playing on Sunday. Has to be.
I mean, when it comes to like an extra day here or there of rest to teams, money's always going to win out over that.
Yeah, that's true.
TV.
That's a good point.
And what works? I would say it's a 90% chance Chiefs play on Saturday.
Yeah, I think so too. You think their first game out of the gates or their Saturday night?
God, I hope they're the first game out of the gates.
I hope they're Sunday. I hope the Chiefs play Sunday.
Why?
Well, I hope.
Is there any
they do,
particular
too.
reason why you're hoping for Sunday?
I know. I hope they do too. But what I think they'll be.
What's the deal with the Chiefs playing on Saturday?
I think they'll be Saturday night.
That's
the
my guess.
Worst possible.
That's my
time
guess.
for me.
Saturday,
And
Saturday,
you,
7
apparently.
o'clock.
And me as well.
Yeah.
My guess is Saturday at 7 o'clock against the Texans. Oh, I just changed it up. I don't know. Do I really
You said
believe that?
Steelers? No, there's no way you believe the Steelers going to win. Do you?
No, I don't actually. I think it's going to be closer. I like the.
I would say
I like all the teams plus the points. Like road favorites in the wild card round are awful.
Last time
I was listening to Fat Jack yesterday. He's got the Texans. He said road favorites in the wild card round are terrible. Home dogs in the wild card round are big time plays. So
home dogs.
Texans are a 3-point underdog at home. In the
I
wild
think
card
it's
round.
still no offense to Fat Jack.
I guess you know more than Fat. Fine, that's fine. I guess
Skinny Mick. Well, at one time Skinny
Moderate
Mick,
Mick, moderate Mick.
less fat Mick,
average build Mick
says Chargers Saturday at 7 o'clock. It's gonna be
Medium Mick. I like medium.
Yeah,
Medium Mick. Medium Mick.
It used to be medium Mick, now it's large.
All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. We'll talk about those games, what we think is going to happen in the AFC. It is Texas and Ohio State tonight right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. And then, of course, the playoff games tomorrow and Sunday and Monday. And then next weekend with the divisional round on Saturday and Sunday, and then the national championship on that Monday night. So great 5 days worth of football. Started off with a bang last night. We'll see what tonight is. And then next weekend, a fantastic 3 days of football with the divisional round games and the national title. We'll take a timeout, come back, get into some of these playoff games for this weekend right after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB. director. He is hanging out with us not until 2 o'clock, part-timer. He's leaving early to do nothing, right?
To do nothing.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Is it speaking out of turn if you say what you're doing? Or
No, it's fine.
You can say what you're doing?
Yeah.
It'd be cool if you said what you're doing just from my perspective, but I didn't want to
Go to
say
the house where Jason Anderson built.
That's it. Yes, that's the house. The house that Mel Churchman built.
What dorm did you stay in?
I don't actually remember
What
the dorm.
sorority house did you stay in?
Roberta Hall.
Was she a junior?
Yes, when I was a junior. Yes. I lived in the fraternity house that is no
Which
longer
one?
the fraternity house. They're not on campus anymore.
Because
what'd you do?
He built it, so that way it fell.
Did you do some hazing?
No,
Not
it
good
was
at
like
construction.
I didn't. We abolished hazing in like 1920.
Hey,
for our
Mick,
fraternity
these
house.
hands don't haze.
I don't know what you're talking about,
Okay,
there, buddy.
these hands.
Not sure. What? No, that's what are you, Dylan? No. No, but I can give you the address of what the house.
Okay,
where
thanks.
it's
Yes,
still
please.
standing, I believe. It's just sad now. We actually have our alumni group up north tonight, so it'll be fun seeing some people. But
Yeah.
You're heading up to Maryville because your son is being recruited by the greatest Division II program in the history.
Yeah, that's had a couple lean years for them, right?
them,
Just kind of
right.
average years for them.
Their bad years
They
are
got a new
most
coach,
programs
Coach
really
Mack,
awesome
Northwest
years.
Missouri State football. So overnight, it's an official visit, all that
Nice.
stuff. So there's an itinerary, and we got to get there and all that stuff.
Nice.
But then, I want. Then next week he's on Pitt State, so I got to tell Kendall that.
No, I get it. You want to do their favorites first. You want to
And
do
then-
the best programs first. You want to see what they have
And then
to
he's
offer.
got one to
and safety
Missouri
schools.
Western, so I need to tell freshman Jason Anderson that. Dylan, did you go to Hutch by any chance? Because he's going there. Where'd Dylan play?
We played Hutch, but I didn't go to Hutch. No,
Where-
so Hutch was
where'd
in
you
the
go?
KJCCC, which is the Kansas Jayhawk
Yeah.
Community
Yeah.
College Conference.
I'm-
They're one of the
Where'd you
best
go, Dylan?
football community
He's not gonna
colleges
tell us,
in the
is he?
conference.
He
What'd you say,
refuses
Jason?
to tell us. Where'd you go? He refused to tell us.
I went to Independence Community
Went to
College,
Independence.
Oh, that's right.
the home of
baby.
Jason Brown, one of the greatest
Jason Brown,
community
baby. Hard
college
Knocks.
football coaches of all
Not Hard
time.
Knocks, but,
Just ask him. So.
Last chance you.
Last chance you.
Yeah.
Jason,
no.
I love that, Dylan. Nice line. He's one of the best coaches. Just ask him.
Yep, just
And
ask
he'll
him.
tell you.
He'll tell you.
He'll tell you unprompted.
Google me.
And
Wait,
he'll tell
no,
you that
wait,
Patrick,
don't Google me.
He'll tell you that Patrick Mahomes is a fraud. And is not any good.
Right.
That's.
I thought that was a bit.
Did-
I
no.
can't believe that's a real human
Well, it's a
being.
bit
said
for-
whole
He said
thing.
he went to camp with the Chiefs, right?
Yeah,
When they
it's
went up and visited Arrowhead, he's
He
like, "Where's
did.
the camp here?" And then people looked up and like, "No, he was never at camp."
Yeah,
with
I
the
went to
Chiefs."
camp with the Chiefs too. My son and I went to training
Yes,
camp
we
with the
did.
Chiefs over the 5 months ago. It was fine. It was good. It's the same thing as Jason Brown going to camp. So I guess that was his last chance to be a head coach.
Maybe,
was
yeah.
There. So he's going to Pitt State then, and
Got a lot, handful of visits lined
nice.
up. So
Well, yeah, good luck to him, man. That's awesome. That's cool.
yeah, it's fun. Basically, who can write the biggest check? I don't care. Your facilities,
NIL money,
right?
huh?
Your record.
It's crazy.
Listen,
NIL
I'm an
money.
alumni of
We're not
Indy,
even
so
to NIL money, man. We're talking scholarship. That's I don't need.
So
I
the
can get
money I've
you,
been sending the Northwest Missouri State Collective is not going to the Schaefers?
I doubt it.
Okay, all right. It was actually going to
freshman offensive lineman, probably not.
It's actually going to Ben McCullum, so.
Whoops.
Yes. Kendall Gaiman just texted us and said, Gorillas. with
Gorillas, yes.
Exclamation points. Sorry, Kendall.
Go Gorillas.
Bearcats, okay. Bearcats. What were you saying, Dylan?
I was saying I'll get him in touch with the Indy CC collective. It's pretty small. There's only one guy.
He's got an offer from Indy. We haven't scheduled.
I
a visit,
assumed
though.
if he had an
Sorry,
offer
sorry.
from Hutch that he had an
Hutch,
offer
yeah, they won
from,
national titles,
from
so,
Indy.
yeah.
So
That's cool, though, man. That's kind of cool, though, to go through these official visits and everything and
Very
know
cool.
that their school's looking at your son to recruit him to play football there.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. When did he start getting interest from schools? Like, I'm going to interview you now as a dad of a recruit. When do the letters and everything start coming in to where you're like, wait a minute, I guess we do need to start scheduling some
June.
visits to go and visit schools?
Before junior year, he got some, and then more of the junior year, and then he switched positions. He was D line and went to offensive line, which changed some things. He's only played it 1 year, but he projects as an O lineman a lot better than D lineman.
Does
and
he
so
like that better?
He does. He wants to play as high of a level as possible, and so that if that means and then did a lot of visits. That we went to Illinois State and
He could be the
Northern
Travis
Iowa this
Hunter
year.
big boy.
He could. That would be great.
Offense, defense, the big boy version.
And the good thing was, not the good thing, but because it was due to an injury, midway through the season, he had to play both ways for Mill Valley. And so
So you got
that
some
got
more
him
D-line
interested.
tape
For,
out there.
some schools liked him for defense,
Yeah.
some for offense, and so made the most of it. So we'll see.
It's awesome, man. No, I'm happy for him. That's really cool and excited for him. So I can't wait to see him in that green and white. So it's going to be awesome, man. And you and I can take some trips up there together. We can carpool. See, this will be fun, man.
I'll mention, hey, I'm on the radio with.
Do you understand what this means
Jason
for your
Anderson?
program?
They're like, that's awesome. Who is that?
Yes. Did he know Tommy Thrall, the voice of the Reds?
Yes.
Is that did he
did.
he know him? Yeah, he did actually. Did he know Steve Serrano from Mix 93? Did he know him too? Yeah, he did actually. Wow, that must be cool to know somebody that knew somebody. Neat. All right, so let's go through these games this weekend, Mick, before we let you go and get out of here. Chargers and
Chargers.
Texans.
Chargers.
Chargers.
I like the Chargers there. I think it's going to be Chargers coming to Kansas City.
All right.
It's gonna be shocked the
So
rest
then
of
I
the way.
have an idea. I guess I should have asked the
Yeah,
other
sorry
way.
about that.
Why was I asking?
I have zero. The one I would put the most money on, and I might, is Ravens over Steelers. I think that they're just cooked.
So I said
Russ
yesterday.
is cooked.
I said yesterday that at DraftKings, if you can have two different parlays. I don't even know if this is the smartest way to go about it. Professional gamblers might go, "This is dumb. You should do it this way," and it'd be smarter. But said put $100. It's if you were to do $100 parlay of Chargers, Ravens, Bills.
Mm-hmm.
That pays you. You get $240 back.
Yeah.
So you win some money, and then if you put money on Texans, well, that gives you $140 back. Sorry,
Okay.
so you win $40. If you put money on Texans, Ravens, Bills, you win
$200,
$150.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
So if you are confident the Bills and the Ravens are going to win, well, then either way, you put $100 on it, you're going to take away at least 40 and maybe 150.
Yeah.
If that happens, I just don't know. Like, I'm pretty confident the Ravens and Bills are going to win. I don't know that.
What
I'm
if I
someone
just
else.
do two and just do Bills and Ravens?
I don't think you're getting
Here's
much
your money
back.
back. Here's your money back.
That
yeah.
may not be worth it. It may not.
I've been on the hill, and Dylan has been as well, that one of the two massive underdogs in the AFC, one of the two will win. I'm not as confident. Dylan thinks it's going to be Broncos.
I'm down. Hey, go.
I think so too.
Go Broncos. Go Texans. Go Steelers.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that, and we all might be wrong. We all might just be wanting that to happen or rooting for it to be a lesser seed. But I have a feeling like the Steelers or the Bills get it done, or maybe it's just they both play pretty close games and the teams end up winning, and we come away going, man, that Steelers-Ravens game was closer than I thought it was, or that Bills-Broncos was closer than I thought. I wonder about the Steelers and that group of players and what they've done as of late heading in the wrong direction. If Tomlin can get them heading in the right direction, those divisional games are always scary. Zay Flowers had 100 yards and a touchdown, I think, against the Steelers last time they played. It was like 17-17 in the third quarter. So, I do wonder if that divisional thing and familiarity, if that Steelers-Ravens game might be closer than we're giving it credit for.
Well,
or the
yeah.
Ravens win by 40.
Well, but everyone keeps talking about how the Bengals offense was firing, and they were. The Bengals offense was very, very good to end the season. Steelers kept them to 19 points.
Say they scored 39 against the Steelers, right? 39? Oh, wait, 19.
The overtime with the Broncos.
So I think some of yes, they're limping to the finish line, but it wasn't this utter disaster. The Steelers played good teams in the year. You're going to play good teams in the playoffs. The Ravens are a good team, but the Ravens are one of the teams, in my opinion, that has the highest variance, good or bad. Probably the highest variance, good or bad, if any team left playing.
Yeah, I think one of those upsets happen. I don't have the stones to pick one specifically, so I'll probably go Ravens, Bills, but then I'm going to go Texans. I think one of those teams, one of those three teams, is going to win. I've said it's going to be the Chargers for the last 3 weeks, and now all of a sudden I'm saying it's not. So therefore, if it's not, nailed it. If it is, been telling you for 3 weeks it's going to be the Chargers.
I believe
just smart
in the Broncos more than I believe in the Steelers in their games. Not even close.
Yeah.
Better quarterback play.
Yeah. They look better at
better
the end.
defense right now.
Yeah. Are we getting too excited of the 38-0 because they lost in overtime to
Not
the
excited
Bengals?
about that at all.
Or are we getting over our skis from the Bengals' perspective because of
look at
38-0?
overall, the Broncos should have been 2-0 against the Chiefs this year.
You could make a strong case about that.
Yeah.
And they had the ball twice in overtime against the Bengals. That would have wrapped up the Bengals season at that point, and
twice in overtime.
Nobody would be complaining about a 38-0. Chiefs lost to the Broncos. Of course, the Broncos. Well, I guess they could have been a 6, maybe if they. I don't know. It doesn't matter if they would have played their guys or not. But I flip flop on the Texans and Chargers. I think we're going to get two good games.
Yeah.
One of them I think may end up being a laugher, whether that be Bills or Ravens. That pull away from that team, and it's like, all right, well, this thing's over. Maybe it's Sunday, and we'll know by 1 o'clock who the Chiefs are going to be playing. But yeah, we won't know until 12 or at 3:30 on Sunday who they're going to be playing. What about the NFC? We've got the game that has been moved to Arizona.
Yeah.
So the Los Angeles Rams and the Green Bay Packers are moved to Arizona. Which is the
Rams and Vikings,
Rams and
right?
Vikings, not Packers, Vikings. The other NFC North team that made it, Rams and Vikings, has been moved to Arizona. That's the Monday night game. First game on Sunday, Packers, Eagles, then Commanders, Buccaneers, and then first NFC game, I should say, on Sunday, Packers, Eagles, then Commanders, Buccaneers. Eagles. Anybody think Packers go into Philadelphia?
I'm
and win?
tempted to
Really?
take the Packers, but I actually have all the same seeds. I have 2, 3, and 5 winning in the AFC and 2, 3, and 5 in the NFC.
I think the Packers are the best 7 seed we might see in a long time. I think the Eagles, to me, are the best in the NFC.
Well, are the Vikings the best 5 seed we've seen them in 14-win 5 seed?
Yes, but the thing with the Vikings that I think gives everyone a lot of cause is we kept waiting for Sam Darnold to fall. Well, the last time we saw Sam Darnold, he fell.
Yeah.
Part of me is wondering, is this the Michigan-Ohio State symptom where we go, oh, see, Ohio State's not good, they lost to Michigan? Or is it because it was matchup-driven where they got just destroyed by Detroit, he got in his head, he was seeing ghosts like he was with the Jets?
Yeah.
Or am I looking too much into that one game? That's the one I can't. I think the defense of the Vikings is really good. I have no questions about that. It all comes down to Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I'm going chalk in the NFC. I'm going Eagles, Bucks, and Rams. I think I believe in Baker Mayfield. I don't know what I'm going to see from Jaden Daniels in the playoffs.
So I have Commanders winning that
You
one.
got Commanders
I
winning that
like
one? Mick, you got Commanders too winning that one?
No.
Commanders, Bucks. You got Bucks?
I have Bucks.
I would go with
2,
whatever you
3,
think
and 5.
because I've been on an all-time cold streak. But that's also been college football,
That's
not
been
NFL.
college football.
So.
Yeah.
All right, tonight, Texas, Ohio State. Mick?
I'm going to go with Ohio State.
Ohio State.
I don't.
I got Ohio State.
Texas should be here right now.
Sterling, you to go the underdog again? You've been killing it with the underdog.
I've been so bad.
Well, you got at this point. You just have to go
Yes,
with
you got to play the
favorite.
favorite.
I'll just go.
And the favorite to cover.
Ohio State.
Favorite and the favorite to cover. Because Notre Dame won and covered again last night.
Yeah, I'll go Ohio State.
The favorites are 9-0 straight up and 8-1 against the spread in the college football playoff. You pick Texas, you're just trying to be against the grain or be the one that. See, I told you that was going to break the
If
streak.
Texas wins and they finally an underdog wins, I'm going to be so mad. I will be livid that the one time I don't. But I'm going Texas. I'm going Ohio State.
Ohio State. Which is it?
Ohio State.
Okay, very good. I didn't know if maybe you wanted to put both.
Well, you
of
can
those,
mark both so that way I can't be
both those-
wrong.
Yeah, that's
I'll go
exactly
back and
right.
say, pull the tape.
Yeah, check tape. Check tape. There's the news that we gave you earlier in the show in the 11 o'clock hour from college. Carson Beck has transferred to Miami. And from the NFL, Deshaun Watson has ruptured his Achilles tendon.
Probably pays better to play for the Hurricanes than it does to be like the third stringer for the Dolphins right now, right?
It probably
Yes.
does, man. You're not wrong. It's like if Quinn Ewers, it's like, well, they're going to pay him $6 million to go somewhere. Well, yeah, he's going to make more money in that $6 million than he will his entire rookie contract.
Yes.
Because he ain't getting drafted in the first round. All right, so we'll see what happens with that. Mick, get out of here. Best of luck on the trip with your
Thanks.
son. Safe travels there and back as well.
Good game over there at St. Andrews.
You as well. Yeah, nice playing you at the old course.
Yeah, the old course.
Go Bearcats. Tell them I sent you. You get maybe added to the scholarship.
Gotcha.
Throw a little
Yeah.
bit more money your
I
way.
want to see the site where you spent $25 an entire semester.
Right.
Right. That's
When
it.
you get there, you'll say, now I get it. There you go. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back hanging out at Golf Track. More Zone next. Sterling, Dylan, golf track where we are hanging out today. Our final segment. We'll get the cuts coming up here in just a second, but did want to let people know news that came out today. We didn't get around to it, but wanted to at least pass along the news with Jack Caglione, that Jack Caglione, his first full pro season, he will begin the camp with the big league club. So he'll have that major league invite, but also the news is that while he begins spring training with the big league club, he will not pitch. So it will be Jack Caglione. He will only be hitting and playing outfield because that's his fastest trajectory to the big league club. MLB.com.
Yeah, Jack, you can do both.
See,
until you get here.
That's right.
Okay,
Exactly.
Maybe not.
MLB.com had their they polled a bunch of front office executives about rookies and prospects and everything, and the breakout prospect, the number 2 vote getter out of the front office that they polled was Jack Caglione.
Let's go.
Zahir Hope from the Dodgers was the number 1 breakout prospect.
Wait, a Dodger?
I know, right? Weird.
Shocker.
And then Rookie of the Year, Roman Anthony, who's been killing it, got the most votes along with Jackson Jobe. But there were 10 players that got votes for Rookie of the Year from the front office. Jack Caglione was one of the 10 players that got votes for Rookie of the Year. Not just, hey, this guy's going to be a good prospect. He got votes for Rookie of the Year this year. So that's the Jack Caglione news that came out a couple of hours ago, that he is not working on pitching. He is a hitter, an outfielder, and we'll start with the big league club in camp. All right, we are hanging out at Golf Track. They've got their grand opening going today at the new location in South Overland Park, the TrackMan Simulator technology, golftrk.com. You can go and check that out. Raffling off a free Scotty Cameron putter and a month's membership here with their grand opening. Our grand closing is the cuts before we wrap things up this week's worth of shows. Dylan, take it away, sir.
They had to get a different one because it was not, and it still barely fits in, and it apparently doesn't have the function.
Sorry about
Brother. Lebo.
The fact that he can go up and get those balls and hold those balls in college, that translates to me.
Does it?
Well, you got to be good at holding on
That's
those
right.
balls
It's not
in
just
college.
about see. Anybody can take the reservation.
Anybody
holding
can get those balls.
The
It's
reservation.
holding those balls
is the most important part.
And then we know it's going to shrink and slow down as the year goes on. And I think that's kind of what people are seeing now.
I mean, was that Blameyer?
Twas Blameyer, yes.
Twas, yeah, I remember hearing that going, oh no. Keep going.
Or do I have to actually get my hand in my pocket and give a little more effort?
Denver is challenging early on the field.
Gift that keeps on giving, man. Tony Romo.
We give it a little more effort. All right, keep going. I can fit 3 cars in there. Limo could fit in there.
No, a limo couldn't, but like a short limo maybe.
I could fit 3 cars.
It's called a car.
It's called a car.
Well, no, but like a three
Great
doors.
job, Leibs. Great job. Keep going. Legarius Sneed.
Jesus.
Didn't even ask the question.
Not a fan of the question or Legarius. I didn't know.
Said a name.
Yeah.
That was all. All right, keep going. Any more?
You know, I realized that my kids, they actually do believe that Nate was Baby J when he was in college. Nate was Baby J, wasn't he? Like, yeah, he was. Sure.
Makes sense. He was a leprechaun at Notre Dame. He was Baby J. What else was he?
If that ever gets back to you through me, just perpetuate that, would you, Greg?
Yeah. Well, you have any? Of course, I'll do that. You think I would? No, you think I would tell your kids no?
Right. Just keep that
Nate's
going.
An adult. He's an adult. He's like a real man.
He's an adult. He's a real man.
I'm a real man.
He was Baby J. All right, golftrk.com. Check it out. Golf Track, the new location, open here in South Overland Park. What a blast we had today.